crossover. Oh, killer crossover. Just crossover. It just crossed him over. Absolutely.
Another victim to the crossovers. Cross him up and sit him down.
Time for the crossover, powered by Everlevel Concrete Repair in Omaha at everlevelconcrete.com.
Hi.
How we doing today?
I'm doing good.
I'm good.
I'm just not the whole setup, like right before the crossover. You used to do it so eloquently, where it's like you were just up and ready to go, and you were in the StreamYard, and you had everything plugged in, and you were on it. I can't like you made it look easy. It is hard getting everything down, getting all the notes ready.
It's okay.
Getting in your zone.
You'll get there
in the StreamYard.
You'll get there. We're all getting into a rhythm. We're all figuring each other out.
Gotta get into the rhythm.
Yep.
Feel the rhythm.
It just
Feel
takes
the
some
ride.
time.
Come on, boys. It's bobsled time. Never seen that movie.
You've never seen Cool Runnings? You
No.
just quoted it?
Yeah, there's a lot of movies that I quote that I haven't seen. Like, you'll hear my intro.
Wow. Why? That's fraud behavior.
That's not fraud behavior.
Yeah,
That's understanding pop culture. That's knowing that is famous, that is funny, that you can say that. People will be like, oh, this guy knows his stuff.
Yeah, but then they would say, oh, I love that movie. And you would say, I'd never seen it.
No, haven't seen that movie. But I know, feel the rhythm, feel the ride. Come on, boys, it's bobsled time. The beginning of you'll listen to my intro of Middays with Matt.
So you want the clout of being able to know the pop culture,
yes,
but you aren't invested in actually having watched the
bang.
Matt's a fraud.
So you're a clout chaser.
Yeah, I'm Dylan Raiola.
Okay,
that's not someone you want to be.
Well,
someone you
if
want
I'm going to be honest with you, if being like him gets that money, I kind of want to be like him.
It doesn't. It's that's not.
I think
why he
there's
got
a fair
the money.
amount of clout chasers who don't have that.
You know, they asked how much money is jail worth for Connor.
Also,
how much money is being hated by everyone worth to you?
Oh, great question. $1 million.
That's pretty
the
low.
thing about
That's it? Yeah.
Dylan Raiola is he
Go
had
on.
I don't care.
like he had that money at birth.
Yeah.
Like he did the money
That's a
didn't
good
just
point.
arrive now.
I thought you were going to say that's not what you need to get that. You need to have a rocket arm, and I do not have that.
He was probably getting Matt Stafford beers in the off season.
That's not true.
Undoubtedly. was
Go get
getting-
me the blue one, Dylan.
Yep. Little baby Dylan was running around the Lions practice facility just doing whatever he wanted.
Did you say getting him beers?
Yeah.
Why would he get him beers?
I mean, because
his
that's what you
godfather.
do. You ask kids to do stuff
Yeah.
for you.
Do you have your children go and get? Well, you can't. Do you have your
No, I
child?
can. Yeah. I ask her to do whatever.
Yeah.
But do you ask her get me a beer?
Yeah, I'm
I
not
certainly
getting up.
could. Yeah.
Will you? I never got my dad a beer.
What?
You never
No.
got your dad a beer?
Well, my dad would go into the garage and he would do my dad didn't drink beer. Let's say that.
He smoked?
No.
What did he do in
I don't
the
want to
garage?
expose my father.
He
just
woodworked?
said- he
What
just-
did he do?
Well, you didn't help yourself by
I
saying you
know.
went into the garage and he's not smoking or drinking. So
What is he doing?
He
is he
would,
huffing paint?
he would like on the weekend he would have his like liquor, like he'd have his Jaeger.
So he was
Yeah.
drinking.
Yeah, he would, but he would do it away from the people.
So
You
he
know?
did. So you didn't get it. It was a secret.
Yes, it was a secret.
Gotcha.
I mean, I grew up in a household where my parents just didn't have alcohol, or they had like a liquor cabinet.
Yeah, my
but
parents
it
didn't
was
really either.
only when they hosted, and that was like once in my entire childhood.
My parents started drinking more when I became older.
Yeah.
They did not. All of a sudden, like I came home like from college one day, and like mom and dad were like getting like kind of
A few
effed
small
up.
beers.
Yeah, at dinner, and I'm like, this is.
Nice. That's a good line. I've seen that movie.
I haven't seen that
I would
movie.
never just say, "Oh, I've seen that movie." And
Did
I've
I
seen that
claim?
movie.
Did I claim that I saw the movie? I didn't claim that seen the movie.
No, you were just quoting it.
I just quoted the
All
movie.
right, so
You're-
here's your
you're
new
clout
quote of the
chasing.
day that you from a movie you haven't seen. A few small beers.
I don't know. I couldn't even
But
tell
if you
you.
use
Is that
the
Dumb and
quote-
Dumber? If you know, it's probably Dumb and Dumber.
It's from
One
One
Battle
Battle After Another.
Oh, okay.
A
Probably
movie
not
that
gonna
will
see
win an
movie.
Oscar or 7.
Are you on your movie kick right now? Did you see another movie recently?
No, I stopped there. I mean,
That's a good place to stop.
I'm finding my daily rhythm.
Yeah.
I don't have time to really do much else at this moment.
I feel that.
Bad.
I feel that. The bags in your eyes are kind of gone. That's good.
Yeah, I got some sleep last night,
I'm glad.
so I feel comfortable enough
Did
to
you-
take pictures
did you-
today.
That was we could have just done that yesterday.
We could have, but I felt so
We're-
bad.
you were like so worked up about that.
Well, I mean, it's the pictures. Like, first of all, just personally, like, I would rather take pictures in like June when we're not like pale white and
Yeah, no, I get it.
maybe we could go outside or something like that. But
Are you never not?
I
pale
would
white?
rather have taken
No, I
pictures
have
a
some
week
color.
from now,
I
but
have some
that's not
color
the
in some.
hand we were dealt.
So we'll do it today.
I think we're supposed to take pictures tomorrow, right, Josh?
Yeah.
Okay,
Gotta take care of this mess on my face.
me too.
I think you
have
look
to
great.
shave. Should I go mustache tomorrow?
Ooh, yeah.
Probably not.
Do the Jordan stash.
No, not the H-man stash. I'm not doing
okay.
that.
What other lines from movies do you quote that you've never seen?
Yeah.
The one in my intro
What is
that
it?
we'll play today.
Never
is it?
seen The Town?
I haven't seen The Town.
What quote is it?
Whose car we taking?
Really?
I haven't seen, but that
The
is
rear view. You
But
don't
that is
quote
like,
that?
but that is the opening of my show. That I haven't seen
What
the movie.
a fraud.
Yeah.
What a fraud.
This gets worse the more it goes, which is generally how it happens.
Like all of like Suits, you know, like have I ever like mentioned Suits or anything like that? The show, the very famous TV show. Like I've never sat down and watched it or anything like that, but I know the whole plot and everything that occurs.
Yeah, but you don't know like quotes. You don't quote it. That
Yeah.
show doesn't have quotes.
Now you're admitting to referencing shows that you haven't even watched.
Yeah, like I've quoted Suits before. It's like Harvey has a famous line like in poker,
bad.
you don't play the cards, you play the man.
I can't
know?
support this behavior.
I can't either. And this is from a person who's never seen any movies.
Yeah,
You know,
I have no shame. I do
I-
not care.
No,
I'm a
but
person who
that's
doesn't
what I
like it
say.
if people send you gifs and it's from something they don't know what it's from.
Yeah, Matt, that's what you don't get. Like, I don't have any shame. My non-shame is saying I don't get that quote to a very famous movie quote.
Yeah, but I
You
get
know,
the quote. I
Josh
know where it comes
says
from.
Something from Casablanca, which I don't think he would.
This is
but
the beginning of a beautiful friendship.
exactly, he would say something like that. Is like, I don't know what you're
Good
talking
movie. You
about.
should watch.
That's my no shame.
Yeah,
It is
if I
actually-
didn't know what he was talking about, I would say I don't know what you're talking about. But if I knew that came from Casablanca, I'd be like, nice Casablanca quote.
No, you would say, I know that movie. I'm a fraud.
No, that's not what I would say. There's nothing wrong in what I am saying right now, because if he had a quote about a movie and I recognize that quote from that movie, I could say, even if I haven't seen the movie, I can be like, oh, that came from that movie. Ball knower doesn't mean I mean, there's so many people in sports media who haven't like watched the games, but they know what happens.
Yeah, that's bad.
You know,
That's fraudulent
Yeah.
behavior.
Generally, we want
Yeah.
people to watch the game.
that's the same thing. I don't do it with sports. I do it with movies.
Don't be a box.
I didn't
score
weigh
Bob.
in on
Yeah.
the end of the Creighton regulation because I hadn't watched it.
Whatever a box score merchant is for movies is what I am.
Unbelievable.
Okay. I know enough to have a convo and seem smart enough to, talk about it.
You're a
So now you're willing to have conversations about the movies? you haven't
No,
even
not
watched?
really. I'm not going to have, if you ever said, hey, oh my God, I love, like, that's just what happened. You're like, cool running. So I'm like, yeah, I can't really talk about it. Haven't seen the movie,
do you
but
go
I know that that's the
through-
very, very, very famous quote.
do you watch previews?
Uh,
Because sometimes I go on the app and I
Like-
watch previews.
like-
the previews are good. The
there's-
trailers.
there's this,
You're a
Miles,
trailers guy.
there's this,
I like trailers. Yeah.
there's this Miles Teller movie with us, one of the Olsen twins. Which Olsen twin? Elizabeth Olsen.
Probably if it's current.
She's not a twin, but she's in the
Oh, okay.
family.
Yeah.
She's a sister.
It's called Eternity, right? And I literally watched a 14-minute video yesterday
14 minutes.
that literally just was explain the entire movie and what the movie was about. And because I didn't want to take 2 hours to watch the movie, but I was interested by the plot.
You wanna
sit
take
through
2
a
minutes to
14
figure out
minute-
which
Yeah, I know.
thing.
You're almost there, man.
So I went through 14 minutes. I was like, all right, cool. Like that seems like a good movie.
So
Yeah.
you Spark Notes movies.
Basically, yeah. Like Begonia with Emma Stone. I watched like a
At one point in like school, I figured out that the Spark Notes thing, it doesn't really work. You actually have
no,
to read.
yeah, but like I'm not taking a test on the movie. I'm just trying to be like, oh
It
yeah,
feels like
I'm
you're
aware of
taking
what
a
happened.
test for yourself so you can talk about it.
No, not talk about it. More about curiosity, but I don't have the time to sit through. Like there are just some movies that just aren't worth the 2 hours. But I'm interested in what happened. But
Why?
because
Why are you interested in what
I'm going to
happened?
be honest with you. I don't know why. It's just how my brain works. I'm just kind of like, I'm kind of interested in what occurred there, but I don't really want to waste 2 hours and be on my phone the entire time.
All right.
That's why I have to watch the movies in the movie theater.
I don't think we'll ever really understand you truly.
If I have learned nothing else over the first 4 days of crossovers, it's the deeper we get, the more just completely discombobulated I feel about how you exist as a person.
Thank you, Mike. I really appreciate that.
I don't mean that in a judgmental way. I just don't understand like any of it.
What do you mean? What is there not to understand about me? I'm a 23-year-old man looking for love who loves sports.
I've received a text that says you need less Pro Football Focus and more pop culture.
I couldn't disagree more. Like, I could not disagree more. Let me tell you something. What I need in my life to be happy, and Pro Football Focus makes me happy. Okay,
Whoa.
it does.
I feel like Pro Football Focus stresses you out
No, it doesn't.
because you're always worried
Why
about
does
the
it
grades.
make you happy?
Because I love like looking at numbers and
I'm
putting
assuming
and,
not
like
the ratings,
analytics.
just the data that they bring. You like the data?
I love the data. I love that when there's nothing that gets me happier when I watch something on a screen and I go, I wonder what that number is. That number's probably low. And then I go and I look at the number. I go, that's what I thought.
Nothing makes
I'm
you
like,
happier.
Very few things.
When I was out of work and people would come up with me with suggestions for jobs and things that I could do, or they had, connections or whatever. One of them was that I could work with Pro Football Focus. Like they needed people.
That'd be sick.
And I thought to myself, this feels like the most fraudulent thing I could do.
Into the
given
belly
my
of the
like
beast.
general history
Sure.
of I mean, I was also recommended for multiple jobs at Creighton, and I had the same reaction to that too.
You should have taken him.
And it was like, I don't think that this is a fit for either side.
Anything I could do on the side? Just
For Creighton?
yeah.
I'll look into it.
He
I
wants
don't
to
know.
honk.
I want to get paid.
Josh just likes money.
I like money too. That's why Josh and I are going to work out. I just want it in my
You guys are
pocket.
gonna have a
Are you guys going to
transactional
pool your money
relationship?
for futures bets?
I'm going to be real with you. I've been looking through a couple of futures and whatnot. The NBA Finals. It's quite intriguing.
Baseball
just
futures.
kind of baseball futures. Not yet. We'll get to when the baseball futures are where you make your money, man. That's where you.
I actually agree with that.
That's
Yeah,
where you.
yeah,
That's where
yeah.
you make your money. That's where you have a good year.
We're probably like a month away from Pacoda projections.
Yeah,
Oh.
that's kind of what you base them off of.
They'll be historically low in the Royals, and I will say, Pacoda, you're wrong again. The Royals are going to
Are
win.
they
80.
not out yet? I think most of the projection systems come out now in January.
No, they gotta wait until all. The
I haven't
signings
seen
are
the
kind of
Pacoda
done.
ones
I haven't
yet.
seen it when the
Or
Pacoda
the steamer and the bat and all of those are out.
Yep.
Yeah.
when the Pacodas come out. It just feels like I always just
This has
know
to be
immediately.
the dorkiest level of crossover, by the way.
Probably.
Talking about
What?
baseball projections.
Well, I mean, we're talking
hitting
about
on like
we're talking
1%
about
of listeners.
no, we're
They're
talking
going to say that the Royals' total wins are going to be 80 or 81, and I'm going to say no. They're going to win 88, and they're going to win the division.
I think because the Twins are so bad, it could go higher though.
Maybe
you got to go
the
ahead.
Twins are going to be so bad.
Yeah, you got to look at that. You got to
Sorry,
look at
Sam.
injury history and whatnot. I'm going to be real with you. I love a good baseball future. I only probably make about 3 to 4 a year, all over unders and whatnot, and sprinkle in a couple of awards. But I typically do awards like mid-season. Like I hit on Travis Hunter plus 2,000. That's probably my best future. of
Oh,
all
for the
time.
Heisman?
For the Heisman 2 years ago. That was good. That felt
Scooble Cy
great.
Young 2 seasons ago.
That's a good one.
That's because he really liked that I said
Yeah.
it. I was
He-
like, you got to watch this Tarek Scooble guy. And
He
then
made
all
a
of a sudden,
passionate plea, and I'm like,
Yeah.
okay, he seems pretty confident.
but credit Josh, he actually put the money on it, and he won.
Yeah. When I make a future, I will let you know. I will let everybody know because I am the best futures better in the country. And I think that everybody deserves to make money.
Do you have any thoughts on the May 14th Reds versus Nationals game?
No, I'm talking about
You
big
don't?
picture champion.
Because they'll be But
Championships.
you have to think about this. They'll be playing that game knowing that there's going to be a Xavier Creighton game that happens right after it
Yeah.
on the same field. So I imagine that factors into totals and things like that.
Yeah, no,
All
it
right.
doesn't.
Wait, May 14th?
May 14th.
Reds National. Okay. yeah.
Reds Nationals.
You
yeah.
weren't talking out of your butt.
No,
there.
it's a real thing.
Yeah.
And there's going to be a Creighton Xavier game right after it on
Wow.
that field. Yeah.
And Happer might be there eating Skyline chili.
I'd love to be in Cincinnati for 15 days.
Oh my God, that's how long they're going to be out there.
Well, they're playing Xavier for a weekend, and then the next week is the Big East tournament.
Oh wow,
That's
So-
going to be weird for our show if you're in Cincinnati for 15 days.
It
You are-
won't be that long.
are you
For the record,
are you going to
but-
Presco Park?
Well, I'd love to.
I
I mean, we
know.
haven't really talked about it yet,
Dude.
but I hope so.
Have you heard him talk about this park over in
Yeah, he's
Cincinnati?
told me about it.
You talk about this park as if it's like one of your children.
It's very
Like
special.
it's so dear.
He only
to
has
your
one
heart.
child.
Like,
so.
but there's like a twinkle in your eye
I have
when
Sophie,
you talk.
I have Prasco Park.
Yeah, well, there's seriously, This is my daughter Sophie.
And
This
only
is.
one disappointment.
Would you name it? Would you name your son Prasco? Prasco Happer?
No, because Prasco is like a pharmaceutical company.
Middle name?
Yeah, it's just one
Alexander Prasco
guy. I'm
Happer.
sure
Go
there's
the other way
nothing.
with it. Go Park Happer.
Park Happer.
Park
Park
Happer.
Happer.
Just short
Ooh.
for Parker.
Yeah. Nope.
I could see that being it.
It's actually short.
Parker Happer sounds like a character.
Yeah, Parker Happer sounds like
Parker.
like a first of all, Parker Happer sounds like a girl's name. And secondly, Parker Happer sounds like the high school bully. Like sounds
High
like
school bully that's a girl.
yeah. Like Mean Girls. Parker Happer.
That kind of bully.
Alpha
Yeah.
girl.
Alpha girl Parker Happer.
All right. Well, I do want to have an alpha girl. So
What if you already have one?
maybe I do, but
Maybe
do you
you do.
think Sophie's an alpha name?
Ooh, yes. Sophie is. Sophia isn't.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
So
Sorry to all the Sophias.
yeah. So no,
You got shoved in a
whoa,
locker.
Sophia is that's a sweet. I've never met
Golden girl.
a Sophia that's not sweet. That's
Are you
not
going to
just
tell
very nice.
Sophia Vergara that she's not an alpha?
Well, I mean, I'm basing this off of like my,
She strikes me as
elementary school.
I agree.
A school is that even a real? Maybe is that a real name or acting name?
Sophia Vergara?
I think that's her real name.
Okay,
I don't know.
You know
that's a
who we're-
legitimate question. I don't
You
know.
know who we're talking about, right?
Yes, Modern Family. I
assume
watched that.
You've read some Wikipedia entries
No,
on Modern Family.
no. I've watched Modern Family. I watched a lot of Modern
Okay.
Family. Actually, it was our like family show. That and The Big Bang Theory.
Is that a real name, Josh?
Sophia Margarita Vergara.
Oh,
yeah,
yeah,
Vergara.
Vergara.
Why is it in there?
Margarita
twice?
Vergara.
I don't know.
Okay.
It's cool.
I'm
My-
amazed that she didn't go stage name of Sophia.
Wait.
Margarita.
Plaid Cat goes, my Sophia is sitting across the couch and now very much dislikes Matt. Every Sophia
What
I've
the
ever
hell,
met,
bro?
every Sophia I've ever met is a sweet, sweet gal. They're so nice.
But also got shoved in a locker by Sophie.
No, that's your words, not my
You
words.
said
Sophie
it.
Cunningham constantly stuffs nerds in lockers.
Yeah. I'm saying Sophie is like an alpha girl name. Sophie Turner. She
Yeah.
looks like she stuffs women in lockers.
All right.
And Joe Jonas.
Hey, you said it.
I did say it. I'm making generalizations that are totally not completely true. That's what Sports Talk Radio is about. I think Prasco would be a great name for your son.
Yeah, I just don't know if I want to
Prasco.
name my kid after a pharmaceutical company.
Prasco Happer. It's not
I
after a
do-
pharmaceutical
Especially
company.
when
It's after
Pfizer
a park.
Happer is right out there for the
Pfizer
taking.
Happer.
Which is named after a pharmaceutical company.
I know Pfizer is a pharmaceutical.
No, I mean Prasco Park is named after Prasco Pharmaceuticals. You know. So I don't know. I don't love that, but I do love Prasco Park.
It's very
It's
there's
tiny little dimensions and it's free food.
yeah, they're making Kauffman Stadium more like Prasco Park.
Kind of, not that small though.
They're bringing in the walls.
food?
Free food at Kauffman Stadium. By the way,
That'd be great.
how was that concourse? We went to the Blur tailgate over there in Kansas City. How is that concourse not a nightmare?
Oh, it is.
Okay,
Yeah.
it is
mean,
so small.
They don't have gigantic crowds, so it's not so bad, but
It is a tiny. It is
Yes.
like a college baseball type
Kauffman?
concourse.
it's a small concourse.
Yeah, I wouldn't
You're
call
ta-
it a
he's talking
college
about-
baseball
He's talking about like underneath the, in the not out
It's
in the
tiny baby.
outfield.
It's tiny baby concourse.
Where I became the only human to grunt a slate inside a Major League Baseball stadium.
I believe so.
People forget.
Mhm.
People
Is
forget.
that
what
verified?
if what if
Maybe I could
Are you
grunt
able
the
to
slate
claim
in
that?
Cincinnati this year, and then I could,
Oh no.
and
What-
then it could be the second.
Oh wow!
if Nebraska volleyball were to go to Wrigley Field, I could probably pull some strings, maybe get us to grunt a slate in
You
Wrigley
could
Field.
grunt that slate. Can we grunt the slate in all 30 Major League ballparks?
No.
What a bit.
It'd be a great bit. It'd be a rocket ship of a bit. I know people. I might be able to get us into a little area in Wrigley, maybe. Figure it out.
You know the Cubs?
Yeah, I know. I do.
gonna say,
I know
you know
people
the
who work
Ricketts?
for
I
the
mean,
Cubs.
I could take a tour.
I know. I have connections.
I
to
too
the
could get
announcers.
us into an area in Wrigley Field. It would just cost me the cost of
Like
admission. for the-
$20. Yeah.
No, they're higher than that.
They're way higher than that.
Are they?
Yeah.
Last time I took an MLB tour, I
It's
think
been a
it was
bit since
20
I've
bucks.
angered people. Overrated park, Wrigley Field.
Okay, I'm not angry about it. You're not wrong. So like
I
Wow,
hate.
surprised by that.
I
take.
do not like
Not wrong.
places where you go. You have to go. You can't watch the game as you're going to go get your concessions
Yeah.
or whatever.
So that's
I am a big open concourse ballpark. guy.
that's
all of my favorite parks are that.
That's an interesting take. You know, I guess I never really like. I didn't know what life was like without that.
Sure.
You know, like that's the park.
I also don't love if
to.
I pay and I sit up and I have sight lines blocked
Yeah.
by poles.
And even well, so that's
You're a modern man, Schaefer. You
Yeah.
like comfort,
which is not how I'm regarded in.
You're a
other
modern
facets.
man.
it's not. The seats aren't comfortable. The seats are really small.
I at a select few ballparks, I will trade that for the mystique.
So
I really
yeah.
appreciate the mystique. I do not believe Wrigley is overrated.
So here's what here's my. Take
I need to
on
sit in the
Wrigley.
bleachers. It's the only thing I haven't done there.
Here's
Done
my
everything else.
It's awesome, but don't go in a day game. Go in a day game, it's hell. It's way too hot. I don't care. I might get crucified for that take. I mean, it's a lot of fun, but if it gets really hot, it's hard to be there. I mean, the sun is right on you. Night games for the bleachers, man, are the best. There's I think the best sporting experience in Chicago are Blackhawks games. I would say second would be like a night bleacher game at Wrigley. But so you're both right. I think you're both right. I think if you're going to one game, like if you're going to one game and you're there, Wrigley Field is not overrated. Like it is like every bit of historical mystique, like beautiful. Like this is a chapel. This is a cathedral of baseball, right?
Mhm.
If you're going there 20 times a year or 25 times a year and you are a regular Cubs fan and you're going, it is a little inconvenient. Like what you talk about the concourse, it's kind of smelly. The seats aren't super comfortable. The sight lines can get weird. You know, if you're in different parts
relative to the fan experience of going to a baseball game.
Exactly. Like if it can get really, really hot in certain sections of the park. It's super expensive. You can't. I know I complain about parking over in like Soldier Field. Parking in Wrigley is worse. You know, like there's a lot of now the train is right there, which is great. So that that kind of deviates from that. So from like a one game perspective, it's not overrated. From a full season perspective, yeah, there were moments where I'm like, I would like a more convenient, comfortable ballpark for sure. This is an interesting conversation because it's like I think you're
it's a
both kinda
preference.
spot
What do you
on.
want? What do you want?
But I do think
Schaefer
like
wants every stadium. And honestly, one of my favorite parks in baseball is Target Field.
Yeah,
Like,
that's
I
in
want
my top five.
everything to be Target Field. Like that's a great park.
That is in my
Yeah.
top five.
Yeah.
All of my top five parks are basically all similar in that vein.
I haven't been to too many ballparks. Like I really like Washington. Have you been to Nationals
I
Field?
have.
That's awesome. I love that.
Oh, you'd
park.
love Target Field then.
I dude, when you walk into Nationals Park and like you walk like in the main entrance and then the field is just right there and
Mhm.
it opens up, like that was one of the cooler moments I've experienced in sports. Miller Park is awesome. Like if you've been to a Brewers game, I
Yeah.
recommend it.
I went
It's so
to in
sick.
both of those
I like it a
situations.
lot.
I've been to the stadium prior to the new one.
Okay.
So I was at RFK when I was out in DC, and then Old County when I was in Milwaukee.
Talking about like
Milwaukee
being
County.
able to watch the game while you're on the concourse, like Miller Park is really good for that. Like you can walk the concourse and still watch the game. You can do a whole lap around the stadium. Oh, I went to Coors Field. That was sick. That's an awesome.
Go to
That's
the
a
rock
top
pile?
five for me as well.
No, we were only there for like 7 innings. But I mean, like
Did you go upstairs to get cheap beers before the game started?
no. I did not.
Sad.
That area though,
Did you get high?
not there, not at the
Right,
game.
but before,
No, at
after.
the next day I did. Yeah.
Nice.
The worst experience of being high.
I'm gonna need you
attending
to
a
come in
baseball game.
tomorrow morning early and take a drug test.
Thank you, Josh.
Whoops, forgot about that. Josh is our boss.
Damn it. Oops.
Yeah, I like a good ballpark. Sorry.
I thought
That's my take.
Great take.
I thought you were about to say I like getting high.
I like a good ballpark. I like a good ballpark. Coors is fine. Miller Park's fine. Target Field is great.
Would you take Wrigley over Coors?
I would.
It's not even like close for me.
I would.
take Coors every time.
Yeah, I like to be presented. Like I like presentation. So I like fun stuff to look at. And
You can see the mountains.
yeah, but only if you're up there a little bit. And
You can
I
see it on the first base side.
I look at the bowl of Coors Field and I'm like, this is just an old 50,000 seat, like nothing stadium, but it's got a great setting. It's got a great setting, but the stadium itself, there's nothing really substantial from a separation standpoint, aside from the rock pile, and how it's different.
Man, I could not disagree more.
I just I don't like how it looks.
I love
you are
Coors
stewing
Field.
over
I love
there.
the fact that it's downtown. I love the fact that it's in
Well,
the
and a lot of
mountains.
it for me is like the location of it, and
Yeah.
so being down like a downtown ballpark
Yeah.
always elevates you
Yep.
relative to. I don't like Kaufman that much because I think it stinks that there's nothing around it. I want the experience of being able to hang out,
I agree.
wander in.
But there you get the presentation. It's the fountains and it's this open sort of air about it. Like I don't know. Kaufman
I
is
can
good
see
for
the
that.
interstate over here.
No,
Damn.
it's not just that. There's
Then-
it's the crown scoreboard. and-
Well, I don't know. I agree with Mike more so. Like it.
Hey, I'm
kind
not
of
going to
is
bat
just
for
the-
it. It's going
kind
to
of
get
is
wrecked,
just
and I'm
the
going to
stadium.
support it. But
I don't
yeah.
know. I disagree with you too. I think Coors Field's awesome. I think everything about it is dope.
I think the setting is great. I don't think the ballpark itself.
I
is
think
that
the
cool.
park.
I think the
itself
park is great.
You're anywhere on the first base line, it's fantastic. If you sit up and you're on the right field side, you're in the Coors deck up there.
I've been to many.
I
games
like
there.
how
That's
low.
amazing.
I like how if you're
The
sitting
worst part
like
about
how
it
low to
is
the ground it
team
gets.
that plays there.
Yeah,
That's the worst part about
So
going to a Rocky.
I was first base line like by the dugout, and like I felt like I was kind of sunken into the ground, like watching the game, and you're right there, like you're
It's a
practically like
great
there
sight.
on the
It's a
field.
Great sight. lines.
Great sight lines, and so you literally everybody talks about elevation and stuff like that and how the ball travels, but like when you're in that park and you're kind of sitting under it and you see the ball, like you literally are seeing this ball just not stop going up, and you're like holy crap, I would love to be a hitter and play here.
Really, you notice?
I think I did. Yeah. I think I kind of noticed. Well, because you go.
It just
Like-
looked like a ball going to me.
No, it's like being up because I was right, like basically on the ground, and I'm looking up and like knowing how I know baseball. I'm like, I'm waiting for the ball to like catch the air. I'm waiting for the ball to kind of like trickle down. It just felt like the ball just kept going and going and going, and then it would
Wow.
hit off a wall. I mean, the Cubs
Jumped
scored.
off the bat.
The Cubs scored like 13 runs that game. Like they could not stop hitting doubles off of the wall. I mean, it was the
It's-
Rockies. They were
It's
terrible.
such a massive stadium. The
It's
out-
so big.
you don't realize it on TV, but in person, the outfield of that stadium is
It's-
so enormous.
It is.
Like just enormous.
Walking the concourse, like I love a good concourse walk. Anytime I go to a new stadium, I just gotta walk the concourse.
Hence
That
why
was-
Wrigley
Take a
just
lap.
fails a little for me.
you can't. That's the thing. That's the crappy
They
part
had
of
a
it
nice
too.
team
You
shop.
can't go if you are not if you don't have bleacher tickets. You can't go to the bleachers.
Right. You really can't even walk side to side.
You can't. No, it's not even.
You just
it
get the middle.
Like
Yeah, I don't
this.
think I've ever even been out there to the bleachers.
Yeah, that's why I want to do it because I feel like it might change my opinion. On
It will
Wrigley.
change your opinion. It is
It's
a.
the only thing I haven't done.
If you go, Matt, where do you want to sit at Wrigley? I will say the bleachers.
Have you been
every
to
time.
Fenway,
Right.
Shafe?
I have been to Fenway, but I was very young, so
Me
it's hard
too.
for me to rank it.
Okay. Yeah, we went there a couple summers ago.
I know, you
Awesome.
loved it.
I love to be presented. Love the presentation. There's so many things to look at. There's so many things to see. The Green Monsters, obviously, like just historic. So
I
love
sat
that.
on the monster. That was sick.
I
Yeah.
think you would have really enjoyed Camden. The presentation of Camden is
I have been
fantastic.
to Camden, and I do
The
like it.
presentation of
How
the
many-
Giants.
How many ballparks have you been
Probably about 20.
to? Really?
Yeah,
Good
I'm in
for
the same
you.
range.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I think I've been to
22.
like 6. I'm like low. Have you been to Angel Stadium?
No.
Either of you?
I have not.
Yes.
Okay.
It's basically Kaufman
Yeah.
because it's in a
Uh-huh.
With a big
just a
rock.
parking lot.
Yeah.
They
Great
were
call.
built by the same firm, I believe. And
It's
they're very similar. Kaufman has
So-
way better. The Angel Stadium is on the very, very. It's with Great American Ballpark.
oh
so
yeah.
towards the
It's
back of
not.
this.
It is
And
very.
Minute Maid.
First off, it's very boring. It's like they got the rock formation out in center field, and that's probably the only like cool thing about it, like unique thing about it. Talk about a concourse, so you can't see the game that's going on at the time. Like it's like basically closed off. They
That
have a
might be by
really
design there.
they
They suck.
they really have a good. I'll say this.
That was like
though.
an old school thing, though. That was what they used
Yeah,
to do
no,
with those
there's-
old
there's a-
stadiums. Yeah.
That's like a near 50-year-old stadium.
Yeah.
at
But
this
I
point?
mean, half the ballparks in baseball have been built now within the last probably 15
Yeah, that's wild.
years.
really.
And all of them have open concourses.
because
I did
that's
not
what the
know that.
people want,
what
like
people want.
me.
Yep.
Did either of you go to the Coliseum, the Oakland Coliseum?
I've been there.
I mean, was it as crappy as it?
It's junk.
Yeah. Okay. Fair enough.
I had a more positive than most opinion about the Trop.
Really?
I have not been there,
Paella.
but he really liked the paella, and I think that changed.
I had paella. It was great.
I think that changed the whole rating.
I'm gonna tell you right now, a good paella can change your
They put
outlook
it in
on
a
life.
little container.
Yeah.
It was awesome.
I don't. If you're like,
When
I
you first
know
told me
I
the
wasn't into
story,
helmet,
I
though.
thought they put the paella in like a raised helmet.
that'd be sick if
And
they
it
put
was
in one of
informed
the
me
Chinese
it was
food
not in a
containers.
helmet.
Yeah. But the guy was cooking it
Did-
behind. I watched
yeah.
him cook it. It was
Did
great.
he have like? Did he put the shrimp head in the paella too and everything like
Oh
that?
yeah, the whole deal.
Nice,
I-
dude. For
That
those
segment resulted in someone texting me, and they're like, "Paella at a baseball
Okay,
game?"
so
It was
wait.
great.
I'll say this.
And a Cuban.
U.S. So U.S. Cellular Field or the White Sox Stadium, which is I think it's Rate
Rate.
now or whatever.
Mhm.
Have either-
low tier.
Okay,
low
yeah.
tier.
So here's the one thing though.
Way down there.
Agreed. It is. I mean, that stadium is built like the United Center. Like it's the United Center of ballparks. It's just so boring. But like they have great food there.
It's their claim to
Great
fame, man.
food. You had a paella at a game. White Sox Park doesn't have it anymore, but on the left field foul pole, they had a place called Walk Off, WOK off, and you could get Asian noodles. Like
Hell
you
yeah.
could get stir fry noodles at like it was one of the best stands. They took it away. Also, the best Cuban sandwich I've ever had is at White Sox Park. Is at U.S. Cellular Field. That Cuban is insane. Then they also have they have everything. It is such a cookie cut. Also, too,
They better because there's no reason to go there.
if they rotated, here's the thing: that stadium also too faces Gary, Indiana. If they rotated
Home
it,
of the Bears.
if they rotated it, it's not true. It's not true.
I thought that's why you brought it up. Honestly,
Not true. And that's the worst part about this whole thing about them putting that out there. They know the entire time that they're not going to Gary, Indiana. They know the entire time they're going to Arlington Park, but they go ahead and they write that stupid ass letter.
Gary
It's called
Bears.
leverage, baby.
And they
The Gare
write that
Bears?
stupid.
yeah, the
Oh,
Gare Bears.
I'm gonna start calling them the Gare Bears.
They start.
The Northwest Indiana.
They
Chicago
and now
Bears.
it's just a joke. Now that's all John Bishop has over me. I've tried talking actual football with John Bishop because our teams are going to play each other, and all he goes, "Brad, they're going to play in Indiana."
that's a good bishop.
John. That's a pretty good bishop.
Unfettered,
Horse
untethered,
crap
Oh,
call.
unglued.
yeah, it's pretty good.
That's how you want your John Bishop?
Caleb Williams paints his nails.
Hey, one thing before we go. Speaking of that, I had this thought recently because this will come up next week. What do we do with Caliendo?
I get Frank.
I thought about this last night.
I get Frank. I want Frank in the divorce.
So I don't think you're in
This
this
didn't come up
conversation.
in the court.
Damn it.
Yeah. So I
He's
don't.
not a bit. He's a man.
He's a gimmick.
This is actually a fascinating discussion. Now, you would be potentially the beneficiary of this. You have no claim to it.
Could you not
Josh
schedule
does.
him during the crossover? And then you two, like, if he
Figure out the
wants to be in
headphone
on
set.
I
it,
have to be able to hear him.
Well, do you know that I love Frank?
you could sit here. I'll just abstain from
Frank
being part of it.
Frank Caliendo.
But I want one Casey Kasem impression if I can make a
Oh, good
request.
one.
That's a great one.
That's my
Casey.
favorite of what he does. Because he'll do like the fake letters that he would
Casey
get, and they're
Kasem.
incredible.
Frank Cali. I don't know if you know this, but Frank Caliendo growing up was one of my favorite comedians. Like I
did
love,
not know
I loved him. It was like Frank. It still is kind of like pretty. I don't want to call him a niche comedian. He's more famous now than he was, but like, I mean, he's not like a list, comedian.
Many
No,
people in the YouTube
you know.
chat saying, "Make Frank."
I love
pick."
him. I love him.
Well, that's a
Interesting.
great idea.
He probably no.
Should we
Honestly,
get a
if
group text
anyone
going?
should have been your bit court judge, it would have been Frank Caliendo.
Yeah.
Good one.
Nah, but Big Court kind of failed.
I enjoyed it. I ordered who's
Big Court lasted
stuff where it
5
needed to
minutes.
go.
Big Court lasted 5 minutes. Went nowhere.
We get distracted.
You wore a
Um,
blazer. I took a video of it. It's great. I watched it the other day.
Thank you. Also too, are you gonna do I Have an Opinion?
Yeah, but not right now.
Okay. But we already have a Wednesday thing we're set up for. We only have one benchmark. It's a good one.
You'll
though.
get there. It'll take some time.
We got odd news. We got what to watch. We got Dog of the Day.
Dog of the
Those-
Day,
those
1
are
and
many-
2.
Those are benchmarks.
Dog of the Day lost last night on
Is
a
the
buzzer
dog
beater.
really just a segment?
What?
I
didn't get
just
that.
asked if the dog was a segment.
No, I give out an underdog. pick.
Anyway, we got to
No,
figure
I-
out the
I know.
Caliendo thing.
Yeah.
We'll get there.
That might be a bit. We'll get to that Frank Caliendo thing later.
Maybe he wants to appear on both shows on different days.
That would be
to promote his show.
that'd be great.
Are tickets still available, or is it sold out?
Oh,
How much
it's
does
it's in a week, isn't it?
Yeah, that's why this is coming up. Yeah.
How much does Frank
He's going
care
to the
about
Xavier
selling
game.
tickets?
I'm actually gonna I'm gonna go to that show. I'm gonna go to Frank Kelly.
They'll probably give you tickets.
Yeah.
I would like to go.
Okay.
We'll figure that out.
Tell him.
I don't know him.
3 shows.
Which is all the more reason you don't have claim to have him on your show.
Let me tell you what, man. I like Frank Caliendo.
All right. We're going to leave.
Thank you. That was Crossover, powered by Everlevel Concrete Repair and Omaha. Look, I'm going to be honest with you guys. I'm hosting a brand new show. It's 4 hours. There's a lot of time to fill. I'm going to milk every bit of the crossover
That's
I
what
can out
Connor
of you
did
people,
when he started
okay?
the time.
So I have
but
you.
That wasn't a problem.
I
considering who was doing the crossover at the time.
I have you two here as long as you want to be here, and then you go, all right, we're done.
What if we said that at like 10:15? Would you be triggered?
No, I would be triggered. Yeah. I'd be like, no.
I'm shooting for, like, can I be honest with you? I would like to end it at 10:20.
Okay.
I think that feels like a good, so you can mentally prepare for that. And then if we give you a little bit of overtime like we're in right now, then great. But we won't go shorter than that.
That was the Crossover, powered by
there we go.
Everlevel Concrete Repair and Omaha at everlevelconcrete.com. Middays with Matt is up next.
I need your help. I can't tell you what it is. You can never ask me about it later, and we're gonna hurt some people. Whose car are we gonna take?
I have a lot of things I want to get off my chest.
That's an absolutely horse crap call.
Make room for Daddy. But they are who we thought they were, and we let them off the hook.
Chicago is.
This is Middays with Matt on 1620 The Zone.
You're listening to Middays with Matt here on 1620 The Zone. Josh Johnson, how are you doing, my friend?
I'm good, buddy. How we doing?
Doing great. It has been a raucous week of sports, coaching hires in the NFL, coaching stepping down in the NFL. All these guys are dude, Brian Flores seems like he's getting interviewed by every single team under the sun. We had a coaching hire yesterday, John Harbaugh. Welcome to being a New York Giant head football coach. It's definitely not failed for many people in the past. That was wildly interesting. We had another incredible night of college basketball yesterday. I understand that college basketball is mainly a sport where a lot of people, not a lot, but a decent amount of people like go ahead and just don't pay attention to it until like late February or March.
That's right, Matt.
It kind of is a classic, like, meet me in the playoff sport because the playoff is so captivating. I'm here to tell you right now, if you are just a sport fan and you are very upset that like football is coming to an end and you need something to warm your cockles, you need something to fill your soul, college basketball has been on a heater. And it's been incredibly fun considering the fact that Nebraska has been a part of the heater that college basketball has been a part of. So we'll talk all about that. I'm having scary thoughts about Nebraska basketball. I literally had like, you know, that kind of like in between stage of I'm awake, but I'm not awake. And you're having like weird, you're kind of like, you're in and out of sleep. Like you're half asleep, but you're half awake. You know what I'm getting at? Like you're thinking and like you're not fully like two. I'm now having those, like when I'm having thoughts during that weird in between time of like, I'm not fully awake yet. I'm thinking about Nebraska basketball. Okay. We're having some dangerously like, oh my God, this is real thoughts coming to my head about this basketball team because there are now only 3 undefeated teams in the country in NCAA basketball after Vanderbilt lost yesterday to Texas. There was something that, and also too,
is Miami of Ohio still undefeated?
Miami, Ohio, the Red Hawks, they're still undefeated.
Rank
baby.
them cowards.
Rank them. Absolutely. They're still undefeated. But only 3 teams left. Arizona, the number 1 team in the country, the Miami of Ohio Red Hawks, and then your Nebraska Cornhuskers, who are still ranked 8th and probably will go higher if they end up defeating Northwestern, who lost again last night, still have not won a game in the Big Ten after they were defeated yesterday by the Illinois Illini at home. There is some correlations as to what happened at Vanderbilt as to why they lost, comparable to why Iowa State lost to Kansas the other day, and they're no longer undefeated. But something that Nebraska survived, which this team is funny enough. You watch them and you're like, all right, this is legit. And then you watch other teams play basketball, and I feel like you go, wow, Nebraska is legit. Okay, like they're even more legit because you watch other teams play basketball, and and you're like, wow, Nebraska's better than this. Like Nebraska's just a better team than these teams I'm seeing play right in front of me. So we'll have a conversation about that. Mike Eckler, what's going on, buddy? I mean, as things move and things progress, it looks worse and worse for the potential of Mike Eckler leaving Nebraska for USC. Matt Rule talked about it yesterday. I know that clip of him on with Zach Gelb, it was already played on the afternoon show, but we'll play it. I don't know if they played it on the morning show today, but we're going to play you a clip on Matt Rule standing on what might happen with Mike Eckler later in the show and what it might mean for the Cornhuskers. We'll talk about John Harbaugh. We'll also talk about some other interesting jobs that are going on in the NFL. We're going to have the odd news at 12:30 with Josh Odson, and then we will be joined for the first time in Middays with Matt History with Lauren Michelson of KETV. Lauren will join us at 1:15. So we have a loaded show for you today. The NFL, the college football. Hey, Tanner Vabula is the 2026 quarterback from Vegas. for the Nebraska Cornhuskers, who committed, officially committed yesterday, I believe. We'll talk about him. Will it be the first and final time we talk about Tanner? Find out. Will it be a good thing if it's the first and final time we talk about Tanner? Who's to say? If it's not, it means that did things go right or did things go terribly wrong when it comes to all of the other quarterbacks in Nebraska's room? We cannot forget, and it'll be I think it'll be interesting to see like the season that Nebraska football will have. But they're just always, it seems to be that, all right, well, they may not be great, but hey, you got another potential 5-star quarterback in Trey Taylor coming to the team in 2027. And that's kind of the weird thing hanging over the quarterback room when it comes to Calandria and Latif and now Vibula. Hey, all you guys are really talented and we'd love for, one of you guys to pop, but there's also this very, very talented and skilled quarterback from Illinois that is supposed to be maybe what we thought Dylan Raiola would be to this Nebraska Cornhusker team. So we'll talk about that, talk about Harbaugh, talk about Rule, talk about Eckler, talk about Rink Mask, talk about Burkett Buchtengel, talk about a guy named Boopy Miller.
I'm sorry, did you say Boopy?
Boopy Miller had a buzzer beater yesterday for SMU, half-court buzzer beater. By the way, incredible pyrotechnics by the SMU basketball, their operations team. The half-court shot goes through the basket, immediately fire comes up from the basket. It was incredible timing. Okay. Awesome stuff. We'll also talk about FOIA articles. How about that?
Oh, we're getting into some FOIA today.
Everybody likes a little FOIA. I subscribe to a site called FOIA Ball. Okay.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah. This guy.
You subscribe?
I subscribe.
That implies that money is changing hands.
I'm paying $3.99 a month to find out all about the FOIAs of Big Ten football teams. So we will talk about a FOIA for the Nebraska football team because it's fun. Because it's fun. We're not exposing anything, but it'll be a fun little segment. So loaded show for today: college basketball, college football, NFL, FOIAs. I have some complaints. We haven't labeled this as a bitching and moaning Thursday. But it might end up being a bitching and moaning Thursday.
Oh yeah,
I have a lot to bitch and moan about.
Okay,
I love complaining about things that aren't serious.
Yeah, that's entertaining for people to listen.
Like when it comes to my job, when it comes to serious things, when it comes to
nothing to complain about.
No, not at all. And I hate being that guy either. To like really like bring the crowd down about all of my complaints and whatnot. But when it comes to like who really cares, dude, I love to bitch. I love to do it. So I have a couple things because I drive on Dodge every day. And so that gives me all the ammunition I need to bitch, moan, and complain. Loaded show for you today. We'll also, if anything is popping up, Josh and I are on it, giving you everything you need to know from 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. here on 1620 The Zone. Middays with Matt will officially start coming up next.
Middays with Matt on 1620 The Zone.
You never know when a moment might
Now, back to Middays with Matt on 1620 The Zone.
You know, it's kind of my bit to like make people feel old. I don't know if
Yeah, that is a bit that you.
but I don't do it on purpose.
Yeah.
I officially have a thing where now I feel old.
Oh, okay.
Like
This should be good.
how the turntables, as
Uh-huh.
Michael Scott would say, which by the way, I have seen The
You
Office
have
before.
seen The
So I am
Office,
allowed to
okay.
quote that. I didn't know we have movie quote police around here at 1620 The Zone. Bob Nightingale tweeted out that the Chicago Cubs have invited everyone from their 2016 World Series championship team to celebrate the 10-year anniversary of their title for a lavish get-together in Chicago. I can't believe that was 10 years ago. Like, I feel like, wow, how time has passed, how things have changed. Like, feel like those 10 years have now flashed before my eyes, and just all of the crappy Cub seasons that have followed with a lot of disappointment. Nick
Yeah, that was really
Castellanos.
supposed to be the start of a window, wasn't it?
Okay, I will never forget, and rest in peace, Pete Rose, gets on the Fox desk, which he was, I don't know how people felt. Like, I wasn't in tune with, like, I'll say this, being in media, I now know how everybody feels about everyone else in media. Like, we all have opinions on each other and how we do, and stuff like that.
My opinion, everyone's great.
Well, I hope with like Al Michaels, like that's the one I have strong opinions on. I have strong negative opinions on two announcers, and that's
Except JJ Watt's punk ass.
no, JJ Watt is good. All right,
No.
you stop it.
Get smaller teeth.
It's not his fault he kicked your team's ass for a decade.
What did he win? I'm sorry.
What if the Titans won?
They got to a Super Bowl at one time.
I'll tell you what the Titans have won: an interview with Mike McCarthy. That's happening today.
Hello.
Yeah, that just was announced 25 minutes ago by Adam Schefter. That
frequent contributor to the Pat McAfee show.
By the way, I know I'm going to be on the outside looking in here, and people are going to disagree with me. But like, if John Harbaugh is going to get a job, and everybody's clamoring to hire Mike Tomlin, it's not as if Mike McCarthy has that unsimilar of a resume. He doesn't have that much different of a resume as those two. I mean, he's won a lot. He's won over.
The vibes are different, right?
I mean, what? What are the vibes? He's just a little huskier.
That's right.
That's fat shaming. We can't fat shame coaches.
That's husky shaming.
The husky. Well, I think I'm being kind to Mike McCarthy when I call him husky. I mean, I'm just saying, the guy's won over 100 games, had 3 12-win seasons in a row with the Dallas Cowboys, and yet we all, tatter about his lack of playoff success in Dallas. It's not as if Mike Tomlin had that much more success in his last couple of years as the head coach at Pittsburgh. And he also, like Harbaugh and like Tomlin, has won Super Bowl ring. He's going ahead and having an interview today with Tennessee. But like I was saying, just feel old because the Cubs World Series was 10 years ago. Little house cleaning here. Nebraska football. So the portal closes tomorrow. What that means is that you can no longer enter the transfer portal beginning tomorrow unless you are a player on the Miami Hurricanes or on the Indiana Hoosiers. Those guys will get 3 days after their national championship game is played to have their own window to enter the portal. But tomorrow is the last day if you are anybody else in college football to enter the transfer portal. Now I want to clarify this because I'm not saying that everybody is, but some people can be confused. Tomorrow is not the last day to acquire players in the portal, okay? Tomorrow's just the last day for players to enter the portal. Think the last day, so the classes begin for Nebraska, and I'll have to double check on the academic calendar, but if I'm not mistaken, the classes, I believe, begin on the 20th, or students return on the 20th, and then I think there's about a 10-day period where you can still enroll. I can double check that for us. I'm almost positive that that's the case, but I can double check that and clarify that. But that is kind of the window, right? So, Nebraska has about, let's just say around to the 29th to 30th to get players into the school and enroll them into classes. So, but tomorrow is the final day if you're not a Hurricane or a Hoosier to enter the portal. Nebraska's hosting 2 more defensive tackles today. Terrence Green 6'5", 330 pounds. He's considered to be a 4-star transfer portal prospect from Oregon. Played in 15 games, had 15 tackles this season for the Ducks. He's rated as the 104th player in the transfer portal, according to On3. They're also hosting 6'1", 292-pound D lineman Owen Studemeyer. He's played in 33 games with Boston College. He's got 47 tackles, 3.5 tackles for loss, and 2.5 sacks. So those are two guys just to keep kind of your ear to the ground about.
Matt,
go ahead.
Not to correct you.
Oh, go ahead.
There was a change in Terrence's schedule.
Oh,
he is making no visits today. He plans to visit Lincoln on Sunday.
Okay, thank you for the clarification. So he will be in on Sunday, but Studemeyer here today. I appreciate that clarification there, Josh Odson. But those are two guys to keep your eyes on. Husker football kind of got off to a slow start on the D line. They've kind of picked it up here in the last couple of days. Definitely one of those positions of need that they need to go ahead and address. Getting both those guys would be pretty big for that, adding to Anthony Jones on the edge, along with Andy Berberia from Iowa Western, baby. So that just a couple things to keep in mind. Tanner Vibabule kind of screwed up his last name in the last segment. Vibabule, the 2026 quarterback from Vegas, who is a speedster, ran for over 1,100 yards in his final year of high school. He committed to Nebraska, so he will be added with Danny Kalen, along with Anthony Calandria and TJ Lateef in that quarterback room. All righty, yesterday, awesome night of college basketball. Had buzzer beaters galore. Ole Miss defeated Georgia in a buzzer beater. Kentucky. Have you seen the play that Kentucky made to go ahead and win the LSU game? Shades of Leitner.
Yes, I did see that. Yes.
Malachi Moreno. Well, first off, LSU had 2 free throws in the last 4.5 seconds. Go ahead and win that game. They missed both of them. Then they did the Leitner play where they launched the ball down the field to their big man, down the court to their big man, caught the ball, turned around, nice little jumper. Kentucky won that game. 18-point comeback. Our dear friend Mock Pope. Did we win that in the divorce?
Yeah, you can have that.
Okay, cool. Man, things were going to get a little sketchy for him if he did not end up winning that game because Kentucky, kind of a little bit like Kansas last year and slightly like Kansas this year, they did beat Iowa State. Kentucky's kind of fallen victim to we spent so much money on our basketball roster, and so we have massive expectations for you. And if they had lost that game last night, they would have been 10-7. Along with they would have been 1-3 to begin SEC play. Instead, they go ahead and make a massive comeback. They were down 18 points with 19:32 left to go in the second half. Hell of a game from Abuka Okori, the Stanford freshman. We talked about him yesterday. They played UNC, ranked UNC. They go ahead and they outscore North Carolina 16-7. The Cardinal pick up a big victory, 95-90. Purdue misses one shot in the last 10 minutes and 30 seconds against Ben McCollum's Iowa Hawkeyes. You know the classic saying when you start a new program, lose big, lose small, win big is kind of the hope that you go in that progression. Iowa's already kind of like they've skipped one beat. They're not winning small, they're losing small, but they're still being incredibly competitive. I mean, that was a tough game that they lost in the barn against Minnesota, and then they had a lead in really controlling that game for a decent amount of it in Mackey Arena against Purdue, but then Braden Smith pulls the Boilermakers out of the fire. What a great atmosphere Mackey Arena is. I know that that's not breaking news or a hot take or anything, but every time I watch a basketball game there, blown away with how awesome it just seems like it is to play basketball in that setting. Little housekeeping here, too, for Nebraska basketball. They play Northwestern in their next game on Saturday. Northwestern, like I mentioned earlier in the show, they lost to Illinois. Northwestern sucks. Northwestern's terrible. Couldn't stop a nosebleed yesterday. Illinois shot 48% from the field. Just overall, Illinois is just a really good basketball team, which I still can't believe we were asking, hey, is Nebraska basketball legit after they won that game? Since Illinois has beaten Nebraska, they have won 6 games in a row, 5 of them against Power 5 opponents. They beat the brakes off of Missouri, who beat Auburn yesterday, along with beating Penn State on the road, beating Rutgers at home, defeating a ranked Iowa team at the time on the road as well. And then yesterday picked up another big road victory against the Wildcats. They're 14-3 and currently third place in the Big Ten, behind Purdue at 6-0 and Nebraska 6-0, undefeated in the conference. All righty, coming up next, we got Old Man Doug on the line. Doug, you stay on there. We got to talk to you. It's gonna be Doug's first call. Here on the Middays with Matt show.
That's right.
That's going to be incredible. This is going to be a big moment. Don't forget, if you want to call in and talk to us like Doug is going to at the beginning of the next segment, Prairie Flower Casino hotline 402-951-1620 is the number. Also, we're going to have Lauren Michelson of KETV on at 1:15. She is a part of today's lineup, which is powered by the rooferees at John Higgins Weather Guard. And never, ever, ever forget to email into the Equitable Bank inbox. Equitable Bank, they take banking personally, and they pick up on the first ring. We did that with Old Man Doug, who will do that with you at Equitable Bank. We'll get to him at the beginning of the next segment, and we'll talk about some of the scary thoughts I've been having about Nebraska basketball and how I think the outlook and attitude of the season has shifted from a fan's perspective, and then I guess from my perspective as a media member, because I think things are getting fun to serious real quick, and we got to decide, is that a good thing or a great thing? We'll talk about that next here on Middays with Matt on 1620 The Zone.
Now back to Middays with Matt on 1620 The Zone.
Transfer portal closes tomorrow. That will be the last time that you can enter the transfer portal if you are not a member of the Indiana Hoosiers or Miami Hurricanes. Those players will have an extended deadline after their national championship game. It'll be funny to see how quickly some of those guys enter the portal. There was one Ohio State player, I forget his name, but the game ended and literally 20 minutes later he was in the portal, which was wild. Looking at the UNL academic calendar, which matters greatly for these things when you're trying to figure out when is the last day you can add players. I've come to find out that they have completely changed the academic calendar since I was a student at UNL. Classes started already. What? What are we doing here? What? I mean, I remember we would get a whole damn near 5 weeks off. We would be done at around the 12th to 16th of December, and then we didn't have to come back until January 20th. Classes have started. January 12th is when it began. So right now it says January 20th is the last day for a full semester course registration and ads. So it seems like January 20th, as opposed to when I thought that is when the semester started. January 20th is the last day you can enroll. We did see, sure they can bend the rules a little bit by a couple of days if need be, right? You could probably manipulate that as you will. But according to the UNL academic calendar, January 20th is the last day to drop a full semester course, last day for full semester course registration. So that's a part of the clock that Nebraska is working against when it comes to enrolling and getting some of these transfer portal guys in here. All righty, let's talk about the story of college basketball. It's shocking to say this, by the way. Oh, actually, no, we don't have to talk about that. We got to get to old man Doug here on the Prairie Flower Casino hotline. Doug, I'm so sorry. I almost skipped over you. That would be so rude of me. How are you, my friend?
Good morning.
Good morning.
I normally I talk to you more when you're on the earlier show, just from a standpoint of I get into meetings and all that.
Yeah.
So I do listen to most of the podcasts.
Oh, I appreciate that.
By the way, the podcast, at least on Apple, it still says the Connor Happer Show, but when I click on it, and then it said Middays with Matt. So for whatever that's worth.
Yeah, we got it. We're working on that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, I was kind of curious about some of the new bits, and I do have an idea for you guys.
Oh, that'd be great. We are all ears.
So if you ever go on the app and you get a different commercial stream than you do over the air, they have these ones that you hear all this time, like what this place needs, more ice cream trucks and this, that, and the other thing. I think you could maybe do that for Nebraska football or something. What this place needs is more defensive tackles, big defensive 300-pounders, or that's an idea. And then the other one, and these things play over and over and over again. They get a little annoying, but I get it. I'm sure as a radio station, you have to give the ad council or something, so many public service. But then they have when I grow up, I want to be a football stadium and all this stuff. Says I don't want to be a piece of garbage at the end.
Yeah.
So it's an idea.
Okay.
And
we'll pin
the
that.
other thing I was wondering is, I'm assuming Josh, I know he's keeping odd news, obviously. Grunt the Slate. And I wondered if you guys had any other ones yet. I know this is just your first week.
We are keeping Grunt the Slate. We are keeping the odd news, obviously. We have something coming next Wednesday. That will be debuted. We were thinking about doing it this week, but we're decided we're going to do it's on Wednesday. On Wednesday, we will have our first official segmented bit. I think what the strategy here, Doug, is we're gonna allow it to happen naturally. You feel me? Everything's better when it comes natural.
Well, the one thing I've noticed now is prior to this week, we kind of started out a little bit more in the morning pro-Nebraska basketball.
Sure.
And then you had the Creighton honks with Josh and Connor, Mr. Creighton.
Yes.
And then in the afternoon, you kind of had a split crew, what you still do with Josh and John. But you guys do a great job.
Thank you. Are you saying, wait, did you say that hoping that I would be more of a Creighton guy? What's your?
Yeah, well, yeah, I mean, you're not now Schaefer. I did ask him. In fact, they carved out a sound bit, not my question, but I asked him what his position. Remember when I asked you?
Yes, it was a very big moment in my career. Yes.
And all Schaefer said was Nebraska owns them right now, which we all know. And they're the way better team this year for sure.
Oh yeah.
And have beaten them 3 of the last 4 years, I think. And but he didn't say is he anti-Creighton. I don't think you're anti-Creighton, which I do appreciate.
Well, yes.
I'm not anti-Nebraska. I'm happy for Nebraska. I actually, the way they play as a team, and you really have to admire that. I don't think they have any freak superstar athletes or anything like that, but they know how to win.
Yeah, they know how to play basketball.
Know their roles.
Exactly.
And I was talking with Shafe and Happer the other morning, and they were talking about, well, would Casey make this team, better or whatever? Or would you rather have Casey over or Sanford? I'd rather have Sanford because Sanford can play defense.
Yeah, he's bigger, much bigger.
And I thought at times Casey shot too much. He could either win you the game or shoot you right out of it. And then also Bryce McGowan's, I don't think would make this team better.
I don't think. I don't know. Those are just hypothetical arguments that I don't really get into, but
here's one last thing to think about.
Yeah.
Is Hoiberg was really, in my opinion, close to being shown the door. And I almost kind of feel like Rule is in that situation now where it's like,
yeah, I don't know. About that.
And how's he going to do the next 2 years or whatever? But I guess you could say patience was rewarded with Hoiberg.
Yeah, I guess it was. And I think that, Fred had I don't know. I think that just Fred the GM failed Fred the head coach last year. And I think Fred the GM has more than helped Fred the coach this year. And I think that was the main difference. I mean, I don't know if Fred ever got officially to, man, you're on the high wire of being fired here, but the results in the first 6 years were definitely not what you wanted them to be or what you anticipated them to be. But this season definitely has kind of rewrote that script. Thank you for the call, Doug. Appreciate you as always, my man. Look forward to talk to you later down the road. I don't see it. Cool. I was waiting for like a goodbye, Matt. Let's see. I was waiting for
never came.
I know. But no, I don't think Rule is in that area at all. I don't think Rule is anywhere close to being let go or being on a high wire to. I mean, he signed an extension 3 months ago. I mean, it's kind of one of those things where, the decisions that have been made have made Matt Rule's job incredibly secure. But after his job became incredibly secure, the team fell apart and got their butts whooped 3 games in a row. And here we are. I mean, Nebraska has, up to this point, had a good offseason. I'm not going to call it a great offseason. We're not going to do the, okay, I know a lot of people are playing the Kool-Aid police right now. I have never seen more Kool-Aid police when it comes to Nebraska football than the entire time that I've been following this team and watching this fan base. There are a lot of people who are keeping tabs on who's being ultra positive and whatnot. And I think that there's even some media members who are at times very, they want to be very careful on how much positivity they're exposing when it comes to Nebraska football and how they feel about the team. I'll say this, up to this point, Nebraska football has had a good offseason. They've went ahead. They got 2 really good offensive line coaches that have been doing well in the transfer portal, and just one offensive line coach in Jeep Wade, who is a proven developer of talent. I think Rob Orch was a really good hire. They've done some good work. Anthony Calandri, I think, was a good pickup. They've done some, Quasi Gilmore was really nice. They've done some good work in the defensive line. Like, they are doing a good job. We will see if that, I mean, there's one thing that might end up happening, that very well could end up happening, that could change all of that, and that includes the coaching staff and the special teams unit. There's one thing that could end up happening that could definitely change my opinion on that, because, the Mike Eckler rumor mill just seems to be getting hotter and hotter in terms of his long-term future with the Nebraska Cornhuskers. And when I mean about the rumor mill of his long-term future with the Nebraska Cornhuskers, it should be more accurately his short-term future with the Nebraska Cornhuskers, because it seems like there's just more steam picking up of him going to USC, which would definitely alter how I think about this team and how I think about what they're doing over there in Lincoln. Let's talk about we'll have plenty of time to talk about that. We'll actually have a clip to play for you about Mike Eckler, and it's not Mike Eckler talking, it's Matt Rule talking about Mike Eckler, and just honestly, what would the repercussions be if Mike Eckler were no longer the special teams coach? We'll talk about that probably around the 12 o'clock hour. I do want to get into this, though, about Nebraska basketball. So now there are 3 teams who are undefeated left in NCAA basketball. It's the Miami of Ohio Redhawks, it's the Arizona Wildcats, who are ranked number 1 in the country right now, and it's the Nebraska Cornhuskers, who are ranked 8th. Heading into this week, we had 5 undefeated teams remaining in the country. 2 of them have lost. Iowa State lost to Kansas 2 days ago, and yesterday Vanderbilt lost on the road to Texas. And I watched both of those games, and it got me thinking about Nebraska basketball, and it got me thinking about how good is this team really? Because I think that you go ahead and we've been having fun, right? We've been having a good time. But you look across the rest of the country, like, hey, there's 4 other Power 4 teams that are undefeated. Like, there are a lot of teams that are going on good runs. There are a lot of teams that are playing good basketball. Like, this is kind of happening. And I think that up to this point, with Nebraska basketball, we've gone ahead and we've really enjoyed this ride. We've really enjoyed every game that they've played and every big moment at Pinnacle Bank Arena. And this has been a ton of fun. But yesterday and the day before, even though Nebraska wasn't playing, made me think highly and even higher of Nebraska, because I said on Monday before they kicked the crap out of Oregon that I thought this was a great team. Then they kicked the crap out of Oregon. You're like, man, they're cooking with something. I mean, they got it. And it's more than, they're on more than just a run. This isn't a run. This is a great basketball team. But I have something for you, because Vanderbilt yesterday loses to Texas. In that game, they shot, I've written down here, they shot 36% from the floor and 28% from 3. In Kansas's loss to Iowa State, they shot 35% they shot 36% from the floor and 33% from 3. That's why they lost those games. Iowa State lost to Kansas because they did not shoot the ball well. Vanderbilt lost to Texas because they did not shoot the ball well. And that's kind of how you're going to get got as an undefeated team in basketball, right? You're just going to walk into a building one day with the team very fired up to go ahead and play you. And you got their fans there who are they're excited about this game. You are the hunted. You are the ranked team. This is a big game for them. It may not be as big of a game for you as it is for them. And you walk in there and you don't have your stuff and you don't make your shots and you're not playing to the level that you typically play at. And because the other team is playing for something more, playing for a quad 1 win, has their fans behind them, they are fired up and they go ahead and they beat you. And that's what happened to Kansas. And that's what happened to Vanderbilt. They walked into a building that was super fired up to play them, and they lost because they didn't shoot well. And the other team found that momentum and ended up playing some of their better basketball. Nebraska played Michigan State. Top 10 team at the time. Still one of the best teams in the country, Michigan State is. Nebraska shot 31% against Michigan State from the field. They shot 35% against Michigan State from 3. They had their bad shooting night against a very, very good team, against a team that was better than Kansas, and against a team that is better than Texas. Nebraska, just like Vanderbilt and just like Iowa State, went ahead and did not have their best stuff against a high-quality opponent who was ready to play them. And they lost that game, and they won that game. Why did they win that game? Why did Nebraska beat Michigan State? Because they defended their ass off. Because they made Michigan State shoot worse than them. They went on the road, and they played Illinois, another great basketball team. A team that is better than what Kansas is right now. A team that is better than what Texas is right now. And Illinois had the crowd behind them in a massive game. There's a ranked-on-ranked matchup. And they took every single punch Illinois could take from them. And they ended up winning that game. And it's because they made the stops they needed to make at the end of the game, and they made some clutch shots, including the buzzer beater from Jamarcus Lawrence at the end. And it just boils back to this fact all the time. That I will not drop this, because this is what is going to make Nebraska have a deep run in the NCAA tournament. It's the defense. This is not a shooting team. This is not an offensive team. This is not a spread the floor team. This is a defensive basketball team who just understands their system, active hands, steals the ball, doubles in the right spot, great out of rotations, awesome at contesting shots. They just shut opponents down. And so they have what some of these other great teams don't have. They had the fail-safe if they don't end up shooting the ball well. They can survive the 31% from the field night. They can survive we only made 22% of our threes, which they won a game in which they only shot 21% from three this season. They have that. And here's what I talked about earlier. I'm having scary thoughts. I said this to you. I'm having scary thoughts about this Nebraska basketball team. And something is shifting for me, and shifting a little bit in this fan base about this Nebraska basketball team. This is what's scary. After Iowa State lost 2 days ago to Kansas, and Vanderbilt lost yesterday to Texas, there's now only 2 teams in the country that are undefeated who are in the Power 5. Where would Nebraska be ranked right now if they started the season 12th in the country? Where would Nebraska be right now if they had the Duke logo? Where would Nebraska be if they had these great recruiting classes and all these guys were highly touted prospects coming out of high school? Probably be ranked in the top 2. They'd probably be the second best team in the country. That's how we would look at them. And I think up to this point, up to the Oregon game, this is a fun thing, man. This is something that nobody expected. This is a team that people ranked to finish 14th in the Big Ten. This is a cool story, right? We're having a great time. Now it's changed. Now it's real. Now it's like, oh, dude, like this. This team can make the Elite Eight. This team can make a Final Four. We talk about teams that win national championships. They're 1s and 2 seeds, right? Typically the teams that end up making a national championship are a 1 seed or a 2 seed or in the top 4 seeds. Nebraska is very well on their way to becoming a 1 or a 2 seed. And I'm not saying Nebraska basketball is going to win a national championship. I'm not saying that. I'm not saying that. But this is more than just a fun story now. This is more than just, oh, hey, we have the longest winning streak in the nation, including the games from the Crown that everybody joked about. No. This is now real. This is now legit. And if it wasn't before, it sure as hell was after they kicked the crap out of Oregon, and it sure as hell is real after now they are one of 2 Power 4 teams in the country on January 15th to still be undefeated. And so, look, we have now shifted from this is fun, this is great, and it still is fun, and it still is great, but this is real now. I mean, this is a team that very well could end up being a number one or number 2 seed in the NCAA tournament, and there's really nothing that's happened before that is telling you that they can't continue on this run, right? And they're going to play a Northwestern basketball team on Saturday, and they are not very good. And they are more than likely going to end up being 18-0. And we are now heading down a path where Nebraska is 20-0 before that Michigan game in Ann Arbor on Tuesday, January 27th. I do want to say this, though. Minnesota basketball, Minnesota, like, they're 10-7 and they're currently 8th in the Big Ten standings, right? I mean, they're 3-3 in their first 6 Big Ten games. That might be a trap game. That might be a trap game. I don't know. You might know that the threat of Minnesota is coming a little bit more than it to be a trap. So maybe it's like a vulnerability game. It's hard to win in the Barn. The Barn is, man, with Nico Medved, the Barn has been rocking with Minnesota basketball, and they've had some thrillers. I mean, they nearly just beat Wisconsin if it weren't for a John Blackwell buzzer beater. But that game in the Barn between Minnesota, that'll be a slobber knocker on January 24th. But go ahead and you play that Michigan game, man. January 27th, if Nebraska basketball can keep this rolling and end up being 20-0 heading into that game, oh my goodness. But that's my point. I don't want people to make it out to be, oh my God, Matt McMaster is saying that Nebraska basketball is going to win the national championship. I'm not saying that. I am not saying that. What I'm telling you is that this team has the makeup, has the wins, and has the resume of teams that end up being one of the Final Four in college basketball. That's what they've created right now. We'll see if it continues. Up to this point, though, there hasn't been a whole lot to tell you otherwise, and they just have an identity and play in a way that goes ahead and it travels. Their style of play travels. It goes from location to location. They can win different styles of basketball games. They can shoot the lights out and kill you. Or they can have a terrible shooting day and still squeak out a win because they're so great at defense. They can have a game where Rink Mask looks like one of the best players in the Big Ten, and he's raining down threes. And they can win a game where he plays 17 minutes and only scores 5 points. And I know that because that's what happened against Oregon. We'll go back to the Prairie Flower Casino hotline. Always one of our favorites, Random Mike on the line. Mike, how are you, man?
Love you, man. And listen, you are so right. I can tell you as a longtime fan of both Creighton and Nebraska, because I actually didn't go to Nebraska. I did go to Creighton for a while. Nebraska men's basketball has not been fun to watch. This team is fun to watch. And you are so right about the defense. And remember, the defense these last 2 years, well, you know, they're doubling up in the post, but they have problems with a good three-point shooting team that's making quick passes. They've kind of solved that. And you're saying Final Four. How's this for history? Let's dream big. Here's a team that's never won a postseason NCAA game. They have won. We used to rule the NIT for a while, and that Crown tournament, obviously, we own that.
Yeah, we do own it.
We could go from never wanting a tournament team to being undefeated. And I was looking at the last undefeated team. It was Indiana in '76.
Yeah.
They didn't have superstars. They did have some first-round picks like Scott Mayweather.
Well, that is a superstar, Mike.
Pardon me?
First-round pick is a superstar.
Well, a lot of first-round picks do not have great pro careers.
That is good.
And he didn't. And Quinn Buckner, really nice player. But what I'm saying is, it was a really smart team, and they had Bobby Knight kind of in his prime, you know?
Sure, yeah.
And would you agree? I mean, Freddie's looking fantastic, and his right hand, well, I won't talk about the hands, but Nate Lenzer is fantastic. And the rest of the coaching staff, they made some other coaching changes. But the thing is, you were so right about the defense picking them up. And here's my point. They got like 4 or 5 coaches on the floor. I mean, seriously, player coaches that makes so much difference in so many ways. Don't you agree?
I do, yeah. Rink Mask might as well be a coach. He's in his 7th year of college basketball, Mike.
Yeah. And you know what? He can score 5 points. Just watch him set and screen.
Yeah.
And, Kaufman was kind of that way too.
Yeah.
It's so significant. And then they got the wild card, the freshman. This guy.
Prager, yeah.
And I made the statement earlier, he could be one of the all-time greats at Nebraska. And I think a lot of people are starting to agree with him just in terms of ability. And there was a Big Ten analyst, I don't know who he was, but he said, after the game, they go back to, Big Ten Central. And he said, Mass is the best player on the team. But Frager is the most important because he can create something out of nothing, and he's done it. And if you watch Frager, his ability to jump and just play defense and be the versatility against covering big guys. There's so many great. When you say Final Four, hey, when you make it to the Final Four, anything's possible.
Sure. Yeah. You know what, Mike? I don't know if I agree with Frager being the most important player on the team, just because I think that they can win games even if he isn't scoring 20 points. And I think that there are some very, more important defensive pieces that they might have. But I'll say this: he's the guy that opens things up. Like when we talk about what is this team ceiling, my answer to you would be, how does Braden Frager play? Because he's what punches through this glass ceiling for Nebraska.
And Matt, he could do nothing for most of the game,
and they can win
it at the end.
Yeah. And he can, there have been games, Mike, where he doesn't do anything and they end up winning the game. And I think the best attribute of this team is that it just seems like on any given night you have 6 candidates to be player of the game. Right? You can have the Jamarcus Lawrence night, you can have a Sanford night, you can have a Mass night, and honestly, the Oregon game, it was a Sanford night. It was also a Sam Hoiberg night because he had 6 steals and he's playing some great basketball. I'm so impressed with how Sam is getting to the cup as well. It's gotten so much faster. Mike, you're the man. Thank you so much for calling as always, my dude.
All right, buddy. Take care.
Talk to you soon. Like this team, I'm telling you, man, like I'm not saying that they're going to win the national championship. I'm not saying that they're going to the Final Four. Don't put that on Twitter. Don't put that on the internet that I'm saying that. But what I'm telling you is that this is shifting from a feel-good, fun story to holy crap. This is real. And they got a lot of good things happening over there in that basketball program. And they're a veteran team with a good culture that believes in what they're doing. All right. There's a breaking story right now. That is, I saw pop up before we started talking about here, and I was kind of looking at some things. We're going to talk about it next segment. It's now here on the Pat McAfee show. That's it's pretty big news in terms of college basketball and some point shaving stuff. It just seems like every couple of months we're getting another big how gambling is affecting sports story. Today, a bombshell has just dropped, and so we will go ahead and talk about that coming up next here on Middays with Matt.
Now back to Middays with Matt on 1620 The Zone.
All righty, pretty big breaking news. I saw this on Twitter, kind of around, I think it was a little bit before we went on air, and then now an official ESPN article has dropped. Here's the headline. 20 men have been charged today in a point-shaving scheme that's involved 39 college basketball players on 17 NCAA Division I teams. This is an article, by the way, from David Purdom of ESPN. Like I said, 20 men have been charged in a point-shaving scheme involving 39 college basketball players on 17 NCAA Division I teams, leading to 29 games being fixed, according to a federal indictment unsealed Thursday in the Eastern District of Pennsylvania. Amongst the 20 men charged in this point-shaving scheme, 15 of the 20 people charged played college basketball in either or the 2023-2024 season or the 2024-2025 season. 4 of the players who are charged, Simeon Cottle, Carlos Hart, Cami and Shell, and Umar Carisi, played this week for the respective teams of Kennesaw State, Eastern Michigan, Delaware State, and Carisi plays for Texas Southern. So massive gambling news in terms of this point shaving scheme. Look, this has kind of been slowly, like I said, it just feels like every couple of months now, we are getting just another gambling scandal, another point shaving scandal. The most famous up to this point with Chauncey Billups, right, being named in one indictment where he was a part of these poker games that apparently allegedly were fixed, and then he wasn't named in the other game, like the basketball indictment, but he was kind of described to be in that lawsuit. And then you also have Terry Rozier, right, who is basically banned from the NBA because of his involvement in those schemes. And so now, a couple of months later, we have an indictment that's claiming that 39 college basketball players were involved in a point shaving scheme, which affected the outcomes of 29 games. I was able to find there was a tweet here that was describing all of the money that was placed. So Pete Thamel has a tweet here. And let me go.
That's a Pete tweet.
It is a Pete tweet. Are we keeping that bit? That's our bit. Pete tweet.
I'm taking it.
All right. That's our tweet. Pete Thamel here, his tweet kind of describing some of the numbers. Listen to this, Josh. This is crazy. Approximately $458,000 on Townsend to beat University of North Carolina A&T. Approximately $424,000 on Kent State to cover the first half spread against Buffalo. $275,000 on South Alabama to cover the first half spread against Southern Miss.
These are some wild wagers on first half spreads of I don't say this disparagingly, low level college basketball.
It is low level college basketball. It is. It's mid-major basketball. By the way, some of these numbers. So 424,000. How do you get that number? Where we're just everybody just kind of pooling money together? It's like, I got $6,000 here. I got $4,000 here.
There was one that it was like 25,000. No, it was $250,539. Like just a very weird number. Also, Pete Thamel's on McAfee right now. He looks like he's late to his beatnik poetry night.
He looks like he's a barista over in Portland. Yeah. Like he's got the beanie with the AirPods and the what is that type of style?
You would stuff that guy in the
locker. I would stuff that guy in the locker. I'm pretty sure I have stuffed that guy in the locker. Okay, you see his glasses that he's wearing?
Yeah.
It's not cheetah print glasses, but it's like that type of brown light brown. Yeah. What is that style? A lot of people wear that. Like my mom has those types of glasses. I don't know. It's not like it's a weird whatever. Oh, back to the gambling, by the way.
Sorry.
$256,000, another weird amount on Northern Kentucky to cover the first half spread against Robert Morris. And then $161,000 on Louisiana Lafayette to cover the first half spread against Southern Miss.
Just had a hunch.
There's even more. Oh, here's a great one. You ready for this one, Josh?
Yeah.
A wager of $168,300 on the Guangdong Southern Tigers to win their game. A attempted $50,000 wager at a casino in Kentucky on Southern Mississippi to beat Alabama State. $30,000 in the first half line wager on St. Bonaventure over LaSalle. Here's an interesting one, because all of these ones up to this point, and I'm just saying, I'm not making any accusations at all at certain individuals, but this is one that's interesting, which is Pete Thamel is basically describing, hey, this is, some of the numbers that were in this unsealed indictment. There is a $52,395 wager on St. John's to cover the first half spread against DePaul.
That's just a smart wager.
Yes. Can you imagine they have to the judge going through being like, this is weird. You know what? That's a good bet. I would actually, if I had that money, I think you know what?
It's a lot of money, but it's a sure thing. Am I right, Court?
Yeah, no, we're good. Yeah. I mean, come on, everybody. It's a lock, right? Do you blame them? Do you see the team that Holtman has out there? Yeah. Come on. All right, we're fine. Now, here's why this is interesting. It's the only Power 5 one on here. And yeah, we'll just leave it at that. It's the only Power 5 one that's on here that Pete is tweeting about.
Real quick, our director of programming, Alyssa, she's hip to these trends that we're idiots about. Tortoise shell is the brown and gold pattern of glasses.
Oh, it looks okay. Yeah. It looks like cheetah print a little bit.
It does. But yeah,
who made up with that? Who goes, hey, we're gonna have brown and gold on glasses?
Brown and gold. People will love it.
I don't want to. I am purely speculating here, but they're St. John's has been going through other outside of basketball things the last couple days, so that's kind of interesting that they end up in this article, in this indictment. But outside of that, yeah. So there are the kind of some of the numbers here from this point shaving scandal. Once again, if you're just joining us, I mean, pretty big news. I wouldn't say it's like bombshell news, but it's more so troubling news of, once again, gambling becoming more and more prevalent in America and legal in America. And now, once again, for what it seems like another time in the last couple of months, we have a massive scandal involving point shaving and 20 men being charged in this thing, in this scheme. 15 of them played NCAA basketball over the last 2 seasons at some point, and 4 of them literally played basketball this week. Just kind of going through some of those numbers there. So we'll see what, I mean, this is one of those things where it's just like, I'd be like, hey, I wonder what the NCAA is going to do about this. But the NCAA is absolutely powerless, at the same, I mean, they just are. At the same time, it's going to be very interesting to see just how this is solved and how this is resolved, and what are the guardrails and what do we do to stop this from occurring? Because, this has always been the worry of gambling, right? That the involvement of outside money would go ahead and corrupt sports. And, it would take away the integrity of the game, and having the integrity of the game is what makes the game, right? We want to see these high level athletes go ahead and compete against each other and give their absolute all to go ahead and win these games. And now the concern was always, well, when you bring money into the picture, you take away from that. And now we have yet another scandal. And look, I mean, these are the one thing that about, the previous cases that we've had in the past, Josh, is that they've been more so about, hey, one individual player is going to go and ask out early. Jonte Porter's going to say, I hurt my eye, or somebody's going to go ahead and have a really bad game on purpose, right, and make their friends some money. Or, I've read some things about, giving out some injury information before it occurs, right, before the official injury report is out and the lines can be adjusted.
Take the under on the shot attempts.
Or
I can control that.
Or this. Hey, these 4 guys aren't playing tonight. Nobody knows yet. Go ahead and bet this because the line is going to shift. So go ahead and get it at a good number, right? We've seen that. This is, and I'd love anybody to correct me where I'm wrong, but this is interesting from the perspective of they were betting spreads. They were betting team spreads. They were betting the results of the first half or the results of the entirety of the game where the outcomes are, primarily affected, right? I mean, it's a little, you see the difference I'm talking about here, right? A guy goes ahead and says, hey, I'm going to go and ask out early from this game. I'm going to go and fake an injury, right? That may not entirely, like Jonte Porter asking out from the game early might not entirely flip, right? Might not entirely flip the game. Terry Rozier having a bad game. Man, Terry Rozier's had bad games before. His teams go ahead and win, right? That's one bet. You go ahead and saying, hey, it's not out yet that these 2 players are out. It's going to shift the line. They're going to be out. Go ahead and bet, this line while you have the chance to go and get yourself a good value. That's different. These bets specifically are, hey, spreads of first half, spreads of games. The results are being affected entirely. That is the interesting part about this different type of scam.
Platcat with a little insight. He dabbles in those worlds, so to speak. He says you could not lay down the kind of money that was being laid down on player props.
Sure.
Sure. These are $250,000 bets on first half spreads.
Crazy.
You can't do that on shot attempts.
And some of these are on, the full game results, right? I mean,
right.
The Guangdong Tigers one was seemingly on a full game. So it's one of those things where this is now evolving, and it's also interesting. It's funny we make that joke. Oh, the first half spread of St. John's against DePaul is actually a good bet. I don't know if we need to flag that one.
It's a great bet.
But everything else though is, apparently in the federal indictment, DePaul was referenced as the worst team in the Big East.
It's true. They were.
That's great.
Wild for that to come up in a
it's
legal
wild for it to be stamped in a court of law of how ass the DePaul Blue Demons are. But it's interesting to me that it's not. Well, this is the part that's not interesting to me. This makes a ton of sense. The fact that it's all like, Kent State and Southern Alabama and Southern Mississippi, like all of these random ass, mid-major college basketball teams, right?
You can get to those guys, right?
They're not making these massive NIL deals, right? They're not $1 million players like you have at some of these top conferences. These are very much guys who, out. I don't know how much money they're making, but it's not as much as Cam Boozer, AJ Dybansa, or even Berke Buchtengel, So it's kind of one of those things where this is definitely a developing story, and this is just a developing genre at this point of gambling affecting sporting events and people coming together to try and fix games and shave points and so on and so forth. And it'll be very interesting to see how just gambling evolves now in America and how these lawsuits and these indictments and so on and so forth go ahead and change the regulation that we have in gambling. Incredibly concerning. If I bet on any of those games, do I now get my money back?
No, game's over.
I'm joking. I'm joking. All right, coming up next, let's go ahead and we're going to talk about some NFL head coaching hires. John Harbaugh got hired yesterday. Somebody got in the NFL media. Tough look for one of our favorites.
Oh, no.
Tough look for one of our favorites. We'll talk about that. And we're going to go FOIA-ing. All right? We're going to play a little FOIA ball. On top of that, we'll do some odd news at 12:30, and then we will talk about something that we're all on pins and needles about to see if a certain coach stays in Lincoln. That's all next year on Middays with Matt.
Now back to Middays with Matt on 1620 The Soul.
So breaking news of the day is this kind of point shaving scandal. 20 people charged on this point shaving scheme. 15 of them were former NCAA. Well, 15 of them played college basketball in either 2023, 2024, and 2024, 2025. 4 of those players that are charged are currently played this week, which is kind of wild. I want to go ahead and just give an example here. In and about mid-February 2024, the including defendants Marv Fairley and Roderick Winkler and Antonio Blakeney recruited for their point shaving scheme defendant Kevin Cross, a forward on the Tulane University Green Wave men's basketball team in FaceTime communications. Basically they told this Kevin Cross guy, hey, you guys are playing Eastern Carolina. Here's the spread of the game. We want you to make sure that Carolina wins the game against Tulane by more than 2.5 points. And so they told Kevin Cross, hey, make sure that your team loses the game by more than 2.5 points, and we'll give you $30,000. Winkler then went ahead, Kevin Cross, the player on the Tulane Green Wave, they play against Eastern Carolina. He only scored 6 points in that game, which was apparently way under his average of the season. And Eastern Carolina ended up defeating Tulane 81-67. So they won those bets, and Cross, apparently, got his money. But then here's a funny one, Josh. In or about early March 2024, the fixers, including defendant Roderick Winkler and Antonio Blakeney, discussed with Kevin Cross fixing the upcoming game on or about March 2nd, 2024, between Tulane and the Florida Atlantic University Owls men's basketball team. Florida Atlantic was favored to win the game by approximately 15 points at sportsbooks throughout the United States. The attempt to fix this game was unsuccessful, and the fixers, including defendant Shane Hennon, lost wagers totaling at least approximately $200,000. Florida Atlantic, they wanted Cross to help Florida Atlantic win the game by more than 15. FAU only won that game by 6. So that's kind of funny that they tried doing this. And then sometimes I guess you lose in your point shaving schemes.
Kevin Cross, former Husker.
Whoa. I just saw that in the YouTube chat.
Yeah. Played freshman year in 1920.
Yeah.
Not the year 1920.
No, 2019.
You don't have that much eligibility.
So how about that? Former Husker gets caught. That wouldn't be the first time that a former Husker actually got caught in some of this hullabaloo. Remember Aaron Eulis? He literally didn't play a whole year for Nebraska. So
people forget.
People do forget about Aaron Eulis, the brother of Tyler Eulis. All right, let's go ahead and talk about the New York Giants.
People also in the YouTube chat letting you know which former Husker recruited Kevin Cross.
Yeah.
If you're into connecting dots,
yep. We are not making any if we're not making any claims here, but things have moved very suspiciously. Weird things are happening.
Coincidental things happen.
Yeah, just kind of
sometimes
strange.
You get fired and told, "Hey, don't ask me any questions about this." And Rick Pitino's up there in his mob suit, and you're like, "Okay, I guess I won't ask any questions about it."
Yep. Sometimes that stuff happens. Yeah, Travis is right. Eulis was a bit different, but I was just mentioning that, so Eulis obviously wasn't gambling, when he was on Nebraska or anything like that. And neither was Kevin Cross, but just saying, Eulis did have to sit out a full year due to NCAA violations that had to do with gambling, and then ended up playing sparing minutes for Nebraska last season. So, just interesting stuff there. Given the breakdown, just giving you an example of what this point shaving scheme was all about. I just do find it really funny when they tried to point shave a game and they ended up losing. Is there any more? See, I don't have enough. I'll go ahead and we'll talk about the New York Giants coming up in the next segment here at the top of the 12 o'clock hour, because one of our favorite guys got. I'll just say this, because I have some opinions on what's going to happen with John Harbaugh and the New York Giants. I think it's a great hire for the Giants. I do. I think it's a very interesting team. We'll talk about why I think that. And I'm not making any bold claims that the New York Giants are going to end up winning a Super Bowl in a couple of years or anything like that. But I think the Giants hit it out of the park. But Albert Breer, one of our guys, all right? I mean, I'm an Albert Breer stan, right? I think he's one of the best writers out there in college in NFL football. So he tweets out, this was at 6:00 yesterday. I'm enjoying this Giants beat covering the John Harbaugh visit like it's NBA free agency. Don't let him leave the building, # whatever it takes. Breer then quote tweeted that and said, in all seriousness, it would have been an upset if the Giants caused John Harbaugh to cut his own process short to take their job. He's been incredibly thorough in vetting the openings. He's got leverage to be patient and investigate everyone. This isn't an 18-year-old recruit. 10 hours later, Breer's next tweet. Sources. The Giants are working to finalize a deal to make John Harbaugh their next head coach. Harbaugh has canceled his visits with the Titans scheduled for today in Baltimore. Big domino about to fall.
Yeah. Punk Giants taking my coach.
So, well, I mean, I guess he took everybody's coach. The response and the in all seriousness, it would have been an upset if the Giants caused John Harbaugh to cut his own process short, are quite funny. They are quite incredible as everybody's taking victory laps on one of our sweet baby boys who never responded to one of my texts. Could be on the morning show, by the way. He was going to be like one of my first. He was going to be like my biggest get. I was so pumped. I was so ready. I was fired up to get Albert Breer on the show. Never responded to me. That son of a gun.
You're dead to us, Breer.
Yeah, we should have a dead to us list.
Ooh,
that'd be a great bit.
I like this. Yeah,
Albert Breer, first person on the dead to us list. We'll keep that going. Dead DTU list. I hope DTU doesn't stand for anything else. Albert Breer. Okay. Coming up next, though, we'll keep keeping tabs on this point shaving scandal because it's very interesting. A lot of the tweets that are coming out right now, it just seems like more. This is always fun when you get these lawsuits that open up. People are now reading them in real time, and so now they're finding out all this information, and then they're tweeting out.
So I don't have to read it.
No, I'm not going to read it. I do though. Like I don't read books. I'm not a weirdo like Josh Peterson, where I go and read a book and then I brag about it, and I'm like, "Ooh, look how smart I am! I read a book," But I do read lawsuits. I do.
Oh, interesting.
I do enjoy reading some lawsuits.
Too much happening in books, so you're like, I got to put this down. I need something drier. Give me a lawsuit.
I don't know. There's some lawsuits. They ain't dry, man. There was nothing dry about that Vince McMahon lawsuit.
Sure.
All right.
Okay, sure.
There weren't. I'm going to tell you something right now. There weren't too many things dry about some lawsuits I read about some Nebraska athletic teams in the past. Yeah, there's always some juicy material in these lawsuits. So that's funny. The one example that I read from this point shaving scandal ended up being Kevin Cross, who was a former player for Nebraska. So that is funny. All righty. Coming up next, we talk all about the Giants. We'll talk about Mike Eckler. We'll talk about Matt Rule. We'll have some more conversations about the players that Nebraska is bringing in on a visit. Great job by Josh Odson. You are right. Today, Nebraska will get a visit from a defensive lineman, Owen Stoudemire, from Boston College, 6'1", 292 pounds. They were supposed to get a visit from Oregon defensive tackle Terrence Green. Instead, he's going to visit Alabama tomorrow. So, talk about not letting him leave the building. It's going to be tough to get. It might be tough to get Terrence out of Tuscaloosa. We'll see if the Huskers can do it.
Visit might turn into a canceled visit.
Yeah, it might turn into see you later. We'll talk about all that coming up next year on Middays with Matt.
Now, back to Middays with Matt on 1620 The Zone.
All right, I have a couple complaints.
Oh,
I have a couple.
okay.
Number one, like, I don't know, maybe like this is solvable, which is why I'm putting it out there as a complaint. Okay. But like, I feel as if I'm out here and I'm like looking things up on my internet browser. I'm trying to like find some information, and then like ads pop up. You know, it's like a bunch of ads of like,
yeah, we need that.
Like, but I don't know. Like on my internet, like I don't need not ads of like pictures and videos. I'm talking about like promoted websites to click on. You know, that have nothing to do with what I'm trying to find.
Yeah.
Like I look up Nebraska basketball schedule and it's all like ticket places, right? I'm not trying to buy tickets. If I wanted to buy tickets, I would look up Nebraska basketball tickets. I'm trying to go to Huskers.com to see their schedule. You know what I'm saying? Or it's like, it's just these internet browsers are like so inaccurate. I'm like trying to find Colorado's current transfer portal ranking. And they give me a bunch of crap before I end up getting there.
That is Colorado's current transfer.
Well, so they're ranked 17th. There was
17th, really?
There was a chat here. It goes, Sal chats in from YouTube. He goes, where do you think the temperature is with Coach Prom in Colorado? Their portal activity looks bleak. A lot of guys going out, not much coming in. Is this time they're about up? I'm honestly surprised that he's going to go ahead and I mean,
I thought he would bow out for
health
reasons.
Yeah, I thought it would be,
and that'd be okay.
I didn't think he would go 2 seasons without Shedeur and Travis Hunter, which, you know, we're quick to call like some coaches merchants of players, right? Like, is Kalen DeBoer, is he really that good of a coach, or was he just a Michael Penix Jr. merchant? You know, is he really that great, or did he just get very fortunate he found a great quarterback in Penix Jr.? Like, is Deion Sanders just the ultimate Travis Hunter, and like the ultimate Travis Hunter merchant? Like, did he really just make one big flip in recruiting and then just carried that all the way to him to a 9-win season and being considered a respectable head coach, and then just never did anything closer to that again? Because when it was, I mean, the idea is, oh my God, this is the idea with a lot of coaches. Oh my God, if Deion Sanders got Travis Hunter to go ahead and be the coach at Jackson State, imagine what he could do at Colorado. He could get a bunch of Travis Hunters. He could get a lot of 5-stars. He can get all these superstars. Hasn't really turned out to, you know, being a good product out in the field, and they did not have a good season. They didn't even really have that great of a season the first year that Travis Hunter was on the Colorado football team. So, I mean, we'll see what happens with Deion and Colorado. But it's incredible how quickly that flame burned out after Shedeur and Travis went to the NFL. I mean, it was like they were like the hottest thing in all of sports almost. Like everybody was talking about Deion and the Buffaloes. And, you know, Fox was going to like all of their games all of the time. I mean, the Fox crew was always in Colorado Buffalo games. Now he's just kind of a coach. He's kind of just a dude, and Colorado is kind of just around. You know, they have some interesting prospects and they got plenty of talent, but and you know, who's to say? I'm not going to act as if I'm an expert on Colorado football, and I know that they're going to end up being a bad team or a good team next year. I mean, I'll tell you this. I mean, it's not like they're going to end up being in the I'll just say this: like, nobody's saying, "Hey, Colorado, look, they're going to be in the college football playoff next year." They're not on that.
Put it on the board.
Nope, not going to put it on the board. So we'll see what happens. There. All righty. Let's talk about.
Oh, they play at Northwestern.
Yeah, I want to go to that game.
Oh, that's right. You've talked about this.
Yes. It'll be the first time. So Northwestern plays the first game of the season there at the new stadium.
They don't have to play BYU.
No, they
get Texas Tech and Utah at home.
Okay. Oh, this is Colorado.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Go ahead.
At Georgia Tech, that feels difficult.
Yep.
Weber State.
Okay, they should win that.
Conference road games at Arizona State, at Baylor, at Cincinnati, at Oklahoma State.
Oof. Oklahoma. Well, you know, Oklahoma State's going to be interesting. Very quietly. So you got Eric Morris from North Texas. You know, Drew Mestemaker was one of the best quarterbacks statistically in college football. He brings Mestemaker with him to Oklahoma State. And if we've seen anything close to a Cignetti model, it's kind of what Eric Morris is doing at Oklahoma State, because people forget North Texas was one hell of a team this season. They were competing for a college football playoff spot. They end up beating Tulane in their conference championship game. It is them in the college football playoff and not Tulane. He's bringing a lot of those guys from North Texas over to Oklahoma State. So that's a team you kind of have to keep your eye out for. But Cincinnati, I mean, we'll see. I mean, unless they can get another Brendan Sorsby, we'll see what happens there. And then what are the Georgia Tech? That's a tough game. What's the other one you said? Baylor. I think Baylor's been kind of ransacked in the portal. So
yeah, Baylor, yeah.
I know it's getting that's a interesting situation over there with Dave Aranda and the fact that Baylor had a very interesting season. I mean, they were a pretty exciting football team, but they lost some games that they shouldn't have lost, and they won some games they shouldn't have won. They ended up in a massive comeback beating to SMU in a double overtime game. They had no business winning that one, and they really shouldn't have beaten Kansas State either. That was a terrible call in that Kansas State game. Do you remember that Kansas State game where the guy was running down the sidelines and his helmet got ripped off? And
no.
So this guy rips his helmet off, but he stayed up, and so if they allowed him to keep running, he would have scored a touchdown. But he didn't score a touchdown because you can't move, you can't advance the ball while your helmet's off, and that ended up costing Kansas State the game, amongst a plethora of other things. It was bad coaching too in the red zone from K-State that cost them this game. Dude, Black Cat's right. Black Cat writes in, I know Matt was riding Sawyer Robertson props with me all year. You're damn right I was, Black Cat. You're damn right I was. I also was riding Baylor overs all the time. Don't worry, I'll let you into my bets that lost me a lot of money this year. Let's talk about the New York Giants. John Harbaugh is the next head coach of the New York Giants. I look at John Harbaugh as a really great floor raiser in the NFL. I think John Harbaugh is gonna go into New York, and he's gonna bring a ton of stability. He is going to bring a professionalism. He's going to bring an operation that he's going to bring with him from Baltimore that he knows works. He's going to bring a system and organization that, frankly, the New York Giants have not had there since dating back to Tom Coughlin. Okay. He's going to bring an actual professional and stable element to MetLife Stadium that neither the Jets nor the Giants have seen there in quite some time. It's an inch. I think the Giants are a wildly interesting roster. I don't think you can look at Jackson Dart this season and call him a bust by any means. I also don't think you can look at Jackson Dart this season and say, whoa, he's going to be the guy. He's going to be incredible for a couple of reasons. First off, you go ahead and look at, his best games. They came against pretty crappy teams. His best performances came against bad defenses. Yeah, he played really well against Dallas. A lot of people do. He played great against Vegas. A lot of people did. He played great against Washington. A lot of people do. When he played against a good Minnesota Viking defense this season, who ranked 4th in EPA per play, he had by far one of his worst games of the year. He beat the Eagles. Got to give him credit. Beat the Eagles in his first appearance against them and looked really good doing it. But then Vic Fangio discovered, okay, we can't let the young quarterback from Ole Miss just run everywhere. We're going to shut that crap down. And they ended up, kind of stuffing him in a locker, which seems like that's a theme of today's show.
I like it.
For whatever reason. But I do think like Jackson Dart is a guy that has shown a ton of promise. I also don't love that if I was a Giants fan, I wouldn't love that my quarterback seemingly ends up in the blue tent a lot and is consistently getting hurt. It's one of those things where you have to balance he's really good at scrambling and he's a great athlete and that's one of his best attributes. At the same time, when one of his best attributes is putting him in bad positions to potentially get injured, I don't know how great I would feel about that, but the guy is wildly talented. And you got to recognize too that John Harbaugh, has a track record of bringing in some young, promising, talented rookie quarterbacks and developing them into winners, right? I mean, that's what he did with Joe Flacco. Joe Flacco, people forget, won Rookie of the Year. Harbaugh comes in, they won a Super Bowl with him. John Harbaugh, like some people were trying to claim like, oh my God, Harbaugh in between losing all of his Hall of Fame defensive players and Joe Flacco becoming hurt. He got saved by Lamar Jackson. If it weren't for Lamar Jackson, man, John Harbaugh would have been fired years ago. Well, I mean, you could say that with a lot of coaches who have great quarterbacks. Like, what would their careers look like if they didn't have their great quarterback? Hell, what has Bill Belichick's career looked like since he's no longer had Tom Brady?
Yeah, I mean, it's a quarterback league.
It is. It's so I don't think you can hold that against him. And you actually have to give John Harbaugh credit. Everybody passed up on Lamar Jackson. Every team in the NFL looked at Lamar Jackson and was like, no, we're good, man. We'll take Josh Rosen instead. A team did that. And John Harbaugh and the Baltimore Ravens, saw a guy that some people wanted to become a wide receiver and said, no, we're going to draft this guy to be our quarterback. And he's developed into one of the best quarterbacks in the league and is on a trajectory, not on the trajectory. Lamar Jackson's going to be a Hall of Fame quarterback. So it's one of those things where, you got a young quarterback, you got a coach that's proven that can win games and help develop young quarterbacks into being viable quarterbacks in the NFL. And you have a very talented defense. I mean, very, very sneakily, you got a ton of talent on that defensive end. Got Abdul Carter. You got Sexy Dexy. It's a defense that on paper should have been more explosive than what it was. It actually ended up being terrible this year. They were 25th in EPA per play this season in the NFL, and they had a god-awful run defense. But, they have some pieces on that defensive end. I mean, I'm still waiting on – I'm never going to give up on Kayvon Thibodeau. I'm not. I don't care what you tell me. But
I won't tell you anything.
But Andrew Thomas is a really good tackle, and then you got to look at the weapons that they have on the offensive end. Man, I really like Cam Scadaboo. How can you not? And how can you not like Malik Neighbors? But the problem is that your three interesting offensive weapons all at this point either got hurt for the rest of the year or just consistently get banged up and Dart, Scadaboo, and Neighbors. So it's a wildly fascinating roster. I think John Harbaugh brings experience, winning, stability, organization, a good operation, and is that the New York Giants need to be steered into that course. They need to just become a regular ass football operation. And John Harbaugh is that guy. Now, I would have been.
He's the 14th winningest coach of all time.
I know. Let me tell you this though. This team is, I think, the second most interesting team that he could have coached. I'll tell you the most interesting team here that I'm going to be very curious who they end up acquiring to be their next head coach. I want to see what the Atlanta Falcons do, man. I think
some pieces there.
Man, you're right.
That division.
Like that's an interesting job. That's a job I look at, and I think Cleveland is pretty interesting. Like Cleveland had a really, really good draft this year. Harold Fannin Jr., Carson Schlesinger, Mason Graham had a really, really good season. Like that's an interesting team that I look at. And I think that, obviously Vegas, the only thing that's really keeping them afloat is the fact that they have the number one overall pick. But that, that can lure a coach to be like, all right, I get a, the first overall pick in the draft. I get to take, I guess, Fernando Mendoza and mold him into something. I don't think Arizona is that enticing. But Atlanta right now, so they have Drake London, really good wide receiver. They go ahead, they have Bijan Robinson, so explosive.
That's a dude.
So dynamic. Have Michael Penix Jr., where, we're probably closer to him not being the guy than him being the guy, but I don't think you can necessarily pull the plug yet. I know he's become more of a joke than he's become, an actual good player. Kyle Pitts had a pretty damn good season this year. 928 receiving yards.
That's what people tell me.
He had 5 touchdowns. His catch percentage went up massively, like up to 75%. It was low. It was at like 64% before that. So have some interesting offensive weapons. Like I said with Penix, like he only played 9 games this season, 9 touchdowns, 3 interceptions. His completion percentage was 60%, which is not good. His record was 3-6. It's his QBR was 57.6, which isn't the best. But I don't think you can. And by the way, Michael Penix Jr. is already going to be 26 years old next season, so things got to pick up pretty quickly.
Washed,
but this defense, man, they were average this year. They were 15th in EPA per play, and they had a really good draft. James Pierce Jr. had 10.5 sacks this season. Jalen Walker, the dynamic, edge rusher / linebacker, 5.5 sacks this year. Xavier Cross, he was good. He was great. Came on for him. So, it's one of those things where, all right, I really like the addition for the New York Giants. When it comes to getting John Harbaugh, and I think that's going to be great for him. But I would have been very interested to see him go ahead and coach the Atlanta Falcons, because I think that would have been that might have been another. Because I would say, if we're talking about talent in terms of the offensive end and in the defensive end, I would take Atlanta's talent over New York's talent. So we'll see who the Falcons end up hiring there. All right, coming up next, our main event of the show, we're going to talk about Mike Eckler. And
this guy,
his ass better be like, what's that? Jordan Belfort. His ass better not be leaving. That would be.
I'm hearing different.
Me too. Talk about it next year on Middays with Matt.
Middays with Matt on 1620 The Zone.
Mostly cloudy, mild, and breezy for your Thursday afternoon, with the high today in Omaha 45 degrees, winds out of the south up to about 25 miles an hour today. Chance for isolated sprinkles, but many of us remaining dry. Tonight, staying breezy, becoming windy by Friday morning. Increasing clouds Friday with a 40% chance of light flurries, dropping temperatures throughout the day.
Now back to Middays with Matt on 1620 The Zone.
Middays with Matt here on 1620 The Zone. Have a fun show. John Harbaugh going to the Giants. That's always enjoyable. Point shaving scandal.
Always enjoyable.
Always enjoyable. Always great to talk about. A bunch of illegal activity that definitely hampers the integrity of the games that we love. One of them actually involved a former Nebraska basketball player. That's fun. What else have we talked about today? Nebraska basketball is one of now just 3 teams who are undefeated in NCAA play after Vanderbilt goes ahead and loses yesterday to Texas. Great stat. Vanderbilt had a 33% chance at losing yesterday's game to Texas. Nebraska's played 9 games this season where they've had a 30+% chance at losing. Obviously, they've won every single one of them. All right, it's our main event of the show here at 12:23. Mike Eckler. Let's talk about him. I said yesterday that it would be a catastrophe if they ended up letting Eckler go elsewhere. I guess part of where he goes definitely does matter. But just in general, if they let the guy leave the building, it would be a catastrophe because, like I mentioned before, what is so concerning about the Matt Rule era up to this point with, Rule at the helm is the lack of identity. I mean, that should not be a problem 3 years into being the head coach of a football program. 3 years in, I should not know. I should be able to tell you, this is what they do well. This is what they hang their hat on. This is what they can count on. 3 years in, I should be able to say that. And I don't know what. I don't have that for Nebraska football. And that's concerning. But Mike Eckler kind of brought that to this program. He brought the identity of being good at special teams, winning the field position battle, returning punts, being explosive in returns. I mean, his being efficient on special teams. I think one of the most underrated Huskers this season was Kyle Cunanan. I mean, he was pretty damn good and very reliable this whole season long. Could Archie have been a little bit better in bunting? Probably, but he was a freshman. Literally, he had never played the sport before. And so I think you have an optimistic outlook at what he could turn into. But, Mike Eckler brought an identity, brought in authenticity to Nebraska that they desperately needed. And he's not gone yet. Things are not trending in the right direction. I will tell you that much. This is not one of those things where, hey, the rumor came up and USC is interested in Mike Eckler and Nebraska went ahead and nipped it in the butt. This is something that is developing right now. We'll go ahead and enough of what I have to say. Let's go ahead and hear what Matt Rule had to think. This is on the Zach Gelb show, correct? With Zach Gelb. This was Rule's comments on Eckler.
No, I don't know. I don't know. I mean, that's you know how this time of year is. These things happen. What I can tell you is right in the middle of the season, we offered Mike a huge extent. He's done a great job, a huge extension to make him either first or second highest paid special teams coordinator. But at the end of the day, people pursue people. I know Mike's a Nebraskan. He wanted to come back and be a part of this. But people have other things. Mike's also been a defensive coordinator. He's also been a part of things, and obviously we hired Rob to do the defense. Mike's done a great job on special teams. But if people want to take other jobs, all I can do is put them under contract and offer them extensions and hope that they stay. So I don't know what's happening. I'm kind of learning about a lot of things on social media, and me, I'm never going to BS anybody. With that being said, he taught us a great system of special teams. He taught us a great teaching progression. And I've got some guys here, Josh Martin, Nick Humphrey, who, were his right-hand guys. I have a guy, Brett Maher, who kicked in the NFL, who's brilliant. So I hope Mike's back. I loved working with him. If a team pursues him and he decides to leave, I do have the guys and the system in place, though, to just do it from within and just continue what we did last year. So Mike's a great coach. Hope he's a Husker. I brought him here to be here a long time, but you know what? There's a transfer portal for players. Coaches also have that same right. we build buyouts and all this stuff into our contracts. But if a guy wants to leave, and he can leave. And so, the thing I always say to everybody though is, I got here and Trev Alberts was a Nebraska guy and he left to do what's best for him. And I love Trev. Mike's a Nebraska guy. He came here. He wanted to be here. If he leaves, he has to do what's best for him. Dylan, Nebraska family. If he wants to leave, they have to do what's best for him. I'm just an old Penn State guy that, when I've had chances to leave, I want to be here. And so I think that's an important statement. Like, I didn't create the problem at Nebraska. My coaching staff, our players, they didn't create the problem at Nebraska where they were bad for a long time. But we've gotten us to respectability. Now we've got to get us to dominance. And so I'm only going to worry about the guys, who are here and want to be in the foxhole with them. And we're going to find a way to get this done.
All righty, let's break down there. The last message, I want to be with the guys who want to be here and want to be in the foxhole and get this thing back to dominance. I don't read too much into that other than, that's kind of pretty consistent with how he's felt over the last couple of years, and that's been a fairly consistent message. I'll tell you what is a bit of a concern. That second part where he goes, we have plenty of people who know his system and can implement his system, and we can continue to have the same things at Nebraska here that Mike Eckler provided. Definitely, sounds like he's going ahead and cutting to the chase pretty quickly before the guys even left. Of okay, when he is gone, don't worry, we'll still be able to have the same amount of success because of the lessons that he passed down to us. That's definitely concerning. And obviously, there's only so much that Matt Rule can do in terms of, hey, we offered him a big contract extension. If he still wants to be here, he can be here. I am curious about this, though. Mike Eckler was a former, linebackers coach. And currently right now on USC's coaching staff, there's no opening to be a defensive, coach. There's no defensive coach opening. And obviously they're luring him to go ahead and be there at the same position as the special teams coordinator. But I wonder, and I've kind of read some things that, yeah, there might be an interest in USC to have him also, have his hands on the defense and potentially help with the defense. And, I want to connect the dots here, right? You have a former linebackers coach who's a special teams coordinator who part of the reason as to why he might be interested in going ahead and coaching as a special teams coordinator at USC is because, hey, I could have maybe my more hands on the defense. I wonder, a very kind of thing that went under the radar was that when Phil Snow was the defensive coordinator for the Utah game, he mentioned that, hey, I recruited Eck to come and coach on defense with me. I recruited Eck to help us out with the linebackers. I wonder if that might backfire on Nebraska football. Maybe that, Phil Snow going ahead and telling Mike Eckler, hey, you can coach with me on, this is my defense and I'm the defensive coordinator. On my defense, you can come and coach defense with me. I wonder if that might have given Mike Eckler an itch to go ahead and pursue an opportunity that might give him more hands-on ability on the defensive end with USC. Granted, all the rumors that we've read is that he'd be going to USC to go ahead and be the special teams coordinator. But there also has been some talks of maybe he has, his hands on coaching defense. I really wonder if that is kind of the thing, if it's not just a money thing that swings Mike Eckler to USC, if it's there's a defensive item there that he can be a part of with UFC, is that what swings him to go to Southern California and be a coach there? And did Nebraska kind of create that own problem by giving him a tease of, hey, when Phil Snow is the DC, you can go ahead and you can coach defense? Did they kind of put that inadvertently in Mike Eckler's head of like, hey, it's fun to coach defense. I miss coaching defense. If USC is going to give me, a little bit of that opportunity to scratch that itch, that's where I want to be. And, I could tell you for a fact that Nebraska loves Rob Dvorak, and wouldn't, just give, just say, hey, Rob, we're going to kick you to the curb and we're going to make Eckler the special teams coordinator and the linebackers coach. So I wonder if that kind of, plays a factor into it of, if that is something, if and like we said, nothing is official. Nothing has happened. As of right now, Mike Eckler is still the special teams coordinator at Nebraska. But when we find more details out later, if he actually does end up going to USC, does he have some ties on the defensive end? And did Nebraska kind of create that a little bit? Did Mike Eckler realize that he had an itch that he needed to scratch because of the experiences that he had coaching the linebackers with Phil Snow? That's just something to kind of keep in mind and might be an interesting little tidbit in all of this. All right, let's go ahead to the Equitable Bank inbox where they take banking personally. We got a couple of good emails here. Eric emails in.
Hi, Eric.
You tease some Eckler talk after this break. I did tease that. We did talk about it. I don't think Eck leaving is a red flag for Rule. Look at his coaching career. He has never skated anywhere longer than 3 years. There is something to be said about that. You know what? That's a good point, Eric, right? That Mike Eckler isn't necessarily a guy that's been known to stay in a place longer for an extended period of time. At the same point, though, Mike Eckler has made himself such an important part of this Nebraska coaching staff and this program with not only his ability to coach, but his personality and connections with the players, right? There's a reason why his office is as close to the players as possible, because he's been able to help build a culture, and that culture he's helped build of special teams is one of the reasons why in the very beginning parts of the year, the special teams unit for Nebraska was a game changer. They don't win some of those games early on if it's not for the special teams contributions. They don't win they may not win that Northwestern game, without that kick return for a touchdown. They don't win that Maryland game if Kenneth Williams doesn't get that ball to the 5-yard line on a kick return touchdown. Like Ja'Cory Barney had some pretty big punt returns this year for this team. So it's one of those things where, maybe this is something that Eckler does, and he's not a guy that you can fully trust to be in your department for longer than a couple of years, but to only have one season and for him to, embed himself within the program like he did and then to lose him would be a very, 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 very tough look. Okay. Let's go ahead to here. John emails in. It's one of our favorites. John goes, Eckler appears to be well regarded in coaching circles. After spending a year in Nebraska and seeing how things are done by his boss, he may have decided he doesn't want his name associated with that loser.
Whoa.
That's a tough one. Sean emails in.
Hi, Sean.
On the point shaving. Okay, this should be fun. He goes, these idiots are amateurs. If you are shaving points, you just don't have a game where you score well below your scoring average, just a big red flashing light. Yeah, I feel like you got to get more than just one dude who doesn't play. Don't you have to get a couple of these guys? Like that kind of, how are you point shaving and you lose? You're pretty bad at point shaving then, are you? You lost $200,000 point shaving? How is that possible? Isn't the point to guarantee a win? You're just grabbing one guy and saying, hey, don't play well. Thanks. That's your strategy?
You're good, right?
You're good. It's only you. There's definitely not 5 other players out there. Or if you're not playing well, your coach definitely won't just take you out and potentially another guy has a hot game and ends up winning. Okay. So there's some really good memes, by the way, happening about this point shaving scandal that a lot of teams are making about formerly bad players on their favorite college basketball rosters. Being like, oh, this makes sense. This guy didn't score, didn't do anything when he played for my favorite basketball team. Maybe everybody's a point shaver. Which, by the way, there was just
everybody a point shaver.
Everybody knows how powerful the NCAA is. Charlie Baker, the president of the NCAA, just wrote a letter begging gambling commissions to eliminate prop bets because that's definitely going to put them over the edge. The all powerful czar, Charlie Baker, telling them.
Well, Charlie Baker said not to do it.
Oh, so I guess no more prop bets. I guess that's going to happen because that guy's on his stuff. He definitely knows what he's doing. So yeah, we will stay in touch here in terms of the Mike Eckler situation. It does not seem like it's going in the right direction here. And I'll say this. If Eckler leaves, I mean, and we're just basing this off of what happened prior, right? If Eckler leaves, you got to think that Archie and Cunanan probably are. I mean, those are the guys that he brought in, right? They may be leaving too. And then in that case, you have to, very late in the process, put together your special teams unit. That could be a disaster. There's a potential disaster there if he ends up bringing, his kicker or punter, hypothetically, to his new school. And then you just have to get what you get and work with it, which could be a disaster. And another underrated part of all of this is Tristan Alvano, your backup. He's transferred already. He's gone to South Dakota State. And so if Nebraska is going to have to put together a duct tape special teams unit, I'll tell you this, that'll be wildly concerning just because, this is not a team built with a roster that is going to blow you out, that is going to run all over you game in and game out. I mean, they're going to play very close competitive games with teams that they have similar talent with. When you play a very close competitive game, what does that game typically come down to? Special teams. I mean, it comes down to kicks. It comes down to field positioning. If Mike Eckler ends up leaving, and unfortunately there's a universe where maybe he takes the farm with him, that could be very, very scary for a Nebraska team that already doesn't have the most positive outlook on things to begin this season with a very difficult schedule upcoming for them in 2026. So we will keep you in the loop, try and let you know everything I possibly can about what's going on. From my perspective, just know this, it's not going in the right direction. This is not a UFC 24/7 board wrote out. Mike, they have interest in grabbing Mike Eckler from Nebraska, and then, it just got nipped in the butt, and that was a whole lot of nothing. No, this is real, and there's more than just one universe where Mike Eckler ends up becoming the special teams coordinator at USC. And, regardless of what happens, whether or not he stays at Nebraska or whether or not he ends up going to USC, I'm sure that there will be a lot to unpack from what were the reasonings as to his departure or him standing pat on the team. So let's go ahead. We'll take a break here, and the odd news is coming up next.
Middays with Matt on 1620 The Zone.
Email us on the Equitable Bank inbox with whatever is on your mind. The Zone inbox is And now we've reached the point in the show where Josh Odson reads the peculiar, the bizarre, the comical, the odd news with Odd Son. Odd news, Odd Son. See what we did there? The odd news with Oddson.
Hey, I didn't interrupt at that time. How about that?
You're learning.
I am learning. I'm learning a lot of things. This has been a very formative last 10 days in my life.
Hey, yeah. That's
Actually,
what we're here for.
Yes, you get to see me grow up in the middle of your own eyes, right in front of you. Now you have two sons. We used to joke that you were my father, essentially. You were like my work father. And now it's become more real, Josh. Things are happening.
It's getting very real. Yes, many are saying.
Too real. What do we have for the odd news?
Well, that depends on if we have internet in the studio.
No! What's happening?
Well, it just, it gets a little laggy sometimes in the middle of the day. That's fine. We have a new world record to discuss.
Okay, hell yeah, let's do it.
A Swedish soccer enthusiast broke a Guinness World Record when he juggled a ball using only his knees, chest, head, and feet for 28 hours, 21 minutes, and 2 seconds.
Why? Some of these world records, man, I don't get it. Like, who is gonna I'm not gonna what's this guy's name?
Daniel
there it is. Johansson?
Jakob.
Okay. I'm gonna be real with you. I am never going to remember that Daniel Jakob ever juggled for 28 hours and 28 minutes and 31 seconds using his chest, his hand, or he never used his hands?
Correct.
So his knees, hands, and feet?
Right.
Yeah, I'm never going to remember that. What is the point? I don't understand the point of these people. You don't become famous.
Pride, baby.
Pride?
Yeah.
I'm not doing that crap for pride. What? I have the best feet and thighs and chest for juggling? What type of, first off, does he do it to pick up chicks?
Oh, good question.
Like, if women out there who might be listening to us, and if you are, thank you. Thank you for
bless you.
God bless your soul. If a guy ever came up to you and said, "Hey, baby," you know what I do?
I got a Guinness World Record.
You know what I'm really good at? All right, I got it. I got a Guinness World Record. Oh my God, for what? Biggest? No, not that. No. No one's ever juggled with their knees, feet, and chest longer than I have, baby. So that means I can last long.
He kept the ball from hitting the ground for over 28 hours. He was allowed a 15-minute break every 3 hours. Oh,
that's BS. What do you mean 15-minute break?
I think so too. I think if you're going to do this, you got to do it. Okay.
Wait. That's bull crap. That's horse crap. That's a horse crap call. I got to get that.
Call.
I got to build my own board.
Wall.
Yeah, we got to get that on the wall. What do you mean? So he, to me, disqualified. You are disqualified. That does not count.
Seems a little disingenuous.
It does. What do you mean?
Do this?
So he drops. So every 3 hours, he's got a 15-minute break.
That's right.
So he drops the ball and he sits down and then he gets back up. That's bull crap.
Yeah.
No, that does not work. Skibbs writes in, I love that Matt thinks the only motive for doing literally anything is to pick up women. Sorry, the life of a single man.
Well, when you're wanting.
Let's go to the next story.
It's the truck spill of the week.
Whoa!
It's a segment.
Honk, honk.
That's something that I won in the divorce. That's right. Truck spill of the week. A crashed truck releases 15,000. Now, eventually, we'll get to a point where I make you guess what is spilled out.
Oh, okay. Okay, but this is a
15,000 live crabs.
Oh, geez.
Onto an Irish roadway.
Okay.
Setting the crustaceans free. And McLaughlin transport truck was carrying a load of crabs to restaurants and stores in Portugal.
They're carrying crabs where? They're giving crabs to who?
Hey, baby.
Hey, baby. Guess what I could do? I could juggle.
When it wound up in the ditch on the side of a roadway in Redcastle, the driver was not injured, but the crash caused 15,000 crabs or $70,000 worth of seafood to be spilled out of their aluminum containers. Crews were brought in to clear the roadway. Boy, it sure. They picked up 95% of the crabs.
Okay.
That's a good enough number for everybody, right?
Yeah, that's fine. I mean, are crabs really causing that much trouble in Ireland?
I don't think they're causing trouble, but I mean, hey, if
poll question.
Ooh,
that would be a good one. That would be a good one. Is there a bad case of crabs in Ireland? People are asking. A lot of people are asking. Are you a shellfish guy? You like shellfish?
It's fine. I don't often crave it or anything like that.
Are you like what's his name? Will Smith from Hitch, where you're allergic to shellfish?
No.
Keep it in the box, baby.
That's right.
You don't got to make food. You don't have to make the pizza. They got food there. I love shellfish. Everybody knows it's a Shucks Friday. It's a Shucks Thursday. Well, it's actually just Thursday. Tomorrow
these are going to be
Friday.
Busier Fridays over at the Shucks here very quickly.
Well, it's great now because I used to have to wait. I used to have to go home and like sit my ass down for a couple of hours.
They're not open.
Yeah. Well, they're not in happy hour yet. Was really like the main position. Yeah, I had to wait till 2:00. Now I can just go straight from here to Shucks.
Mm-hmm. Great. I'm happy for you.
I know. I should tell them to sponsor the show. That'd be great.
Would love that.
We would love free Shucks.
We end the odd news today in New York State, where their governor, I was going to look this up during a break and I forgot. I apologize. I don't know how to say her last name. Kathy Hochul.
Okay. Yeah, I'm going to be real with you right now, Josh Hodson. You are talking to the king of not pronouncing names correctly. Okay. So you could just go with whatever you want. Yeah. It's fine.
The governor of New York plans to undo an old law in the state of New York that made it illegal to dance in some restaurants and bars.
Whoa.
Hochul is what I'm being told in the
Why
internet.
was it illegal to dance in some bars and restaurants? Is this like a prohibition based law?
Well, maybe we'll get to that. I'm not quite sure. The headline was enough for me. The 2026 State of the State policy book released ahead of her Tuesday speech said the governor will direct the state liquor authority to create a hybrid restaurant dance license to improve trust and transparency and cut red tape. The governor will charge SLA with allowing dancing by default in taverns and bars, creating a new hybrid restaurant tavern license. Dancing is currently forbidden under state rules for a restaurant license. The new hybrid license type will bring more transparency to the community, blah, blah, blah. Bunch of political junk about how great I am. Yeah, I know. You're just saying the same thing over and over and over again. Was there a word limit on this?
Probably.
Tell me why.
Probably. What great publication did you find this from?
The New York Post.
Oh, wow. Okay. That makes sense. Well, look, I'll tell you something right now. Great comment from J-Man. New York's going footloose, man.
That's right.
Hell yeah, they
referenced
are.
in
I
the
didn't know that
article.
you could ban dancing from bars. That sounds like no. First off, I'm at the age where if you like, okay, I'm going to. This is a great conversation just to prove my youth. I'm going to one of two bars. I'm either going to a bar with a lot of wood with an older crowd and an experienced bartender who pours them heavy to just go ahead and get drunk and be a part of the ambience as quick as possible. Ambiance as quick as possible. You know what I'm saying? I'm just going there to chill, going there to vibe. If I find an old timer and we talk for 45 minutes, beautiful. Love it, right? Dive bar would. I'm either going to that bar or I am going to a bar that there needs to be a dance floor, okay? I don't want to go to a college bar or a younger person bar where it's just a lot of people walking around, but there's no dancing. You got to give me a dance floor. I'm a peacock, Captain. You got to let me fly, right? I need a floor, or I need a couple of, Vietnam veterans to the left of me and to the right of me drinking some very tough whiskey sours, telling me about how I need to live my life and what I need to do differently. There is no in between. We're either dancing or we're reminiscing.
In 2017, New York City Mayor Bill de Blasio and the City Council scrapped the infamous cabaret law, which for years drew negative comparisons between the city that never sleeps and the town in Footloose. The city law made obtaining a permit that allows patrons to dance extremely onerous and expensive.
Why do we need? Is this a common thing? Is this in Nebraska? Do you need a license to dance?
I can't imagine so.
Can you imagine you're on the dance floor? Somebody comes up, license and registration, please.
You got a license for that?
You got. See, that's a good pickup line at a bar. Not a. Somebody did email in. We read an email here from Seth in the Equitable Bank inbox.
Hi, Seth.
He goes, "Is juggling a ball with your knees, feet, and head sexy?" Chris writes in,
"Can be."
The article may have said they saved 95% of the crabs. Saved seems like a reach when they all really did was prolong their death until their death could provide monetary benefit to some restaurant.
That's fair. That's fair.
They didn't save the crabs. They saved the restaurant is probably the more accurate description. Which crabs ending up on the side of the road, they can just wash it off later. I mean, what they do anyways, they stab them like in kind of the stomach region and they plop them into boiling water anyway.
Yeah.
Honestly, spilling them onto a road was probably, you got to think that some of them died, right, in the spill. Probably a better death than being put in a pot of boiling water. But Skibbs writes in, License to Dance was a Janet Jackson album, I think.
Whoa.
See, it's going to make people really mad that I only know Janet Jackson from that one occurrence.
Oh, okay. Well,
see, I've stopped doing that. I used to try and rage bait people with the things I didn't know about certain things. I've come to learn it's just not worth it. Feel like the odd news is even edgier this week. Well, know your personnel, Theo.
Well,
KYP.
Let's see. We can figure this out.
Was it? Oh, he was kidding. Okay. I didn't. Skibbs, you could tell me anything was a Janet Jackson album, and I would have believed you.
She's released 4 albums in your lifetime. I would have guessed 0.
Okay. I've never listened to one of them.
Well, really, if you got the Velvet Rope, you're good.
Is that
maybe Rhythm Nation if you want to go deep?
Oh, I thought the Velvet Rope. I thought that was like a.
These are Janet Jackson albums.
Oh, okay. I thought that you were like making an innuendo or something like that.
No.
A certain type of innuendo. We are the horniest show on 1620 The Zone.
We are? Really?
Yeah, I'm sorry.
Do we have to be?
I can't help myself.
Okay.
Sometimes. We talked about juggling and immediately went to dancing at bars.
Okay.
I can't
I didn't think any of those.
This is an actual outreach for help for people who own restaurants in Nebraska, and I'm assuming that there are probably a couple that listen to the show. Do you need a license to dance in Nebraska? Like, does a restaurant need? I didn't even know that existed. Is this stupid that I didn't know this was a thing?
Well, it's in New York. It's not in Nebraska.
I know, but is it just kind of a standards and practices that you need licenses to dance?
No, it's not. It's very abnormal.
It's kind of just an etiquette thing, right? Like, oh, here's a Matt complaint about something today.
Okay.
All right. So Dodge, no shocker, was under construction today, and I had to merge from the right lane into the left lane, and I found a little bit of a gap, and it was pretty clear that the person, to the side of me was giving me that gap, right? And I gave him a wave. Here's what I do. You're looking at me. This camera's my rear view mirror right here. This is what I give. I'm driving, and I go. That's what I give.
Good radio.
Boom. I'm sorry. I wave, thumbs up. Another quick little thank you, thumbs up. All I want back is give me like a finger, or give me like not the middle one, but give me a hand, give me a you're welcome, or give me a no problem, or a hey, I see you.
You want the you're welcome wave.
I want the you're welcome wave.
Wow.
I want the no problem wave. Also, I want people to I want them to thank me too. Nobody's thanking each other on the road anymore. We have an actual problem. Just give a wave.
Now that I'll agree with you with. The thank you wave.
The thank you wave needs to come back.
It's rapidly leaving society.
I do want
your welcome wave. I don't know that was ever.
I will always give a your welcome wave. Somebody waves when not enough people wave at me when I help them out. I give them up, no problem. Right there. That's what I give them. A little point. I just point. Hey, I got you. Also, too, Jeep owners are the Texas A&M vehicle owners.
Weird little cult.
Yeah, very weird little cult. I was driving my mom's Jeep and people were giving me the 2-finger. I go, what the hell is going on?
That's what they do.
No, I went to Jewel Osco. It's like the local grocery store. Went in there, come back. There's a duck on my hood. And they're like, oh, yeah. My mom's like, oh, you got ducked. And I'm like, what the hell does that mean? Are we pumping eggs? Are we pumping eggs?
They wave at each other. They're a little community.
They're a weird community. A very weird community. just like Texas A&M. All right, coming up next, there was a trade request about somebody that nobody really cares about in the NBA anymore. Oops. What? And we talk about FOIAs. It's going to be one hell of a segment coming up. I hope you like burgers, and I hope you like Lauren Michelson, who's coming up at 1:15 here on Middays with Matt.
Now, back to Middays with Matt on 1620 The Zone.
Middays with Matt here on 1620 The Zone. We'll go ahead. The Pittsburgh Steelers are interviewing people. There was a great article, apparently, that came out that I'm excited to read about. A lot of people, they were able to get sources within the Pittsburgh Steelers locker room about how they never gave up on Mike Tomlin and believed in him until he eventually stepped down. First, a slate of interviews here. Nate Scheelhaus, he's the passing games coordinator for the Rams. Chris Shula, the Rams defensive coordinator, longtime assistant with Sean McVay. He's been with the Rams for about 9 years. We'll interview with the Steelers. Would be pretty on brand for the Steelers to hire Shula, defensive coordinator, defensive-minded, younger guy. I believe he's still in his 30s, which is kind of the archetype that the Steelers like to, get to be their head coaches. Longtime assistants who've been in the NFL, who are still fairly young, that have a defensive mindset. Anthony Weaver, the Dolphins DC, will also be interviewed, along with Jesse Minter from the LA Chargers. That's never going to change for me. And Brian Flores, who seems to be interviewing with everybody. The Washington Commanders are actually interviewing Jonathan Gannon to be their defensive coordinator. And I believe, I think also to Jeff Hafley, the defensive coordinator for the Green Bay Packers, is also getting interviewed. Let me double check, because there was like some sort of redaction or something that happened.
A lot of things are getting redacted nowadays.
Yeah, a lot of lists.
Seeing it more and more.
Oh, add the Steelers to a list of Jeff Hafley's coaching interviews. So that's a list that did not get redacted. Jeff Hafley going to interview with the Pittsburgh Steelers.
What list is next?
I don't know. Well, we have a list. We just created a list today. That will not be redacted. We will be very clear.
That DTU. Dead to us. Albert Breer.
Albert Breer. Who is? I mean, this is like the list of Jericho. I mean,
you.
It could be anybody. Somebody pisses me off, they have the total right to end up on the list.
You seem like a guy that is very quick to add someone.
You know what?
To the dead to me list.
Can I be real with you?
I would welcome it.
I don't want to kill the bit. If I've learned anything from Connor Happer, which is very few things, there is an art to the bit.
There is.
If I go ahead and I'm too aggressive, like the bit is one of a couple of things. Here's the bit with the Dead to Us list. It's either legit and it takes a lot and it's a big deal when you get put on the list, or the Dead to Us list will be like, it will be very, very long. It will be like in 3 font by the time.
Legit to bit.
Exactly. So what do we want this bit to be? Do we want to hate too many people, or do we want to be very selective?
I think if you add someone to the list, they can always come off the list. And then it's a huge shock that, oh my gosh, Albert Breer is burying the hatchet with Matt McMaster.
I know, it'll be everywhere.
I got to tune into this. Yeah, absolutely.
Well, if Albert Breer ends up coming on the show, that's how he'll get off of the Dead to Us list. I did get warned when I was given his number that he doesn't really respond. But the fact that I went through all the hoops to jump through to get his number, and then not even no, we won't be on the show on the DTU. All right. Real quick, Jonathan Kuminga requested a trade from the Golden State Warriors. Okay, cool. He's averaging 12 points this year, 24 minutes played. That's a guy who the NBA will always be the king of, oh my God, I can't believe he's been that young, because all these guys come in when they're 19 years old. He's still 23 years old and was a pretty key piece on one of their championship teams. Jonathan Kuminga was one of those like awesome, like holy crap prospects with 6'7". He's super long. If he can be an efficient scorer with just the length and diversity that he brings to the defensive end, he could be something. But he's never been able to develop a 3-point shot, only 33% from the field. If you're going to be an effective NBA player, you got to fix that. And just has not broken into the role that maybe you thought he would with Golden State, looking for greener pastures. We'll see if anybody's really interested in trading for him. Not that this is an NBA town, or I'm speaking to any Golden State Warrior fans right now. Everybody loves a FOIA. Is that a fair statement?
Yeah. We appreciate it.
So I found this awesome website, FOIAball.com. Okay. So this guy, I don't even know who this is, David Kovucci. So I'm assuming he is like the owner of FOIAball.com. Just goes ahead and just FOIAs a bunch of Big Ten football teams and just tries to figure out, how much they're spending on these, extravagant trips. So like, for example, Ohio State and Michigan took private jets, and I think this is referring to Big Ten Media Days. Ohio State and Michigan took private jets there. The Buckeyes dropped $65,809 with net jets, and the Wolverines $81,782 at XO Charter. He goes, we must mention here that whenever Ohio State sends us spending records, the school always includes a note that says, if you were reporting on this information, the Department of Athletics is self-funded and receives no tuition or tax dollars, which is and then he continues, which is true with a lot of these schools. They are raking in money. That's why we want to see where it's going. So this is in reference to the Vegas Bowl trip. On to the Cornhuskers. Nebraska said it had 2 Learjet charges for Matt Rule and his party. So they went ahead and they give the private numbers. They didn't spend a lot, by the way, only $10,000 on their Learjets. And then they spent over $1,200 on a dinner at Carboni. Okay, which Matt Rule and his people did talk about. So it was $1,264 on food and $1,000 on wine is what they spent. So apparently they were getting some nice bottles of vino.
Drinking on the job.
But here's the point. No, it's a dinner. Who cares? That's not the point. Here is the point. According to FOIAball.com, Matt Rule and his people on the private jets apparently expensed $600 in Smashburger. Okay? It was $600 worth of Smashburger through Easy Cater and $225 in burritos on DoorDash, all delivered right to the jet. for 12. And by the way, it says here on the note, the receipt, that it was for
you have
12.
The receipt.
Yeah, the FOIA ball has the receipt.
Wow.
So it was 400. Just for people who want to know, it was $431 total, subtotal for the burgers, a $43 delivery fee. There was an 8.3% sales tax, and then credit to Matt Rule and staff, $86. $86 on the tip. A nice little tip there. So
on a how much bill?
On a 430, so it was a 20. It was right on the dot, a 20% tip. Okay, so they didn't overtip, they didn't undertip. I respect that.
Yeah,
I actually respect that.
Definitely.
Just because I have a ton of money does not mean I need to overtip. I will tip the standard 20%. So credit to them. My question is, how many damn burgers do you need? My God, that's a lot of burgers.
A lot of people on that jet.
I mean, that's 436. Which, by the way, like a Smashburger, that is Smashburger that expensive? Have you had Smashburger?
I have.
Damn good burger.
Yeah. Oh, I'll bet it's $15 a burger.
$15 a burger? No way. I thought it was like $6 a burger.
No.
You got to look this up.
You can't get a burger for $6 anymore.
Plycat writes in, Matt went back to Nebraska, went back to Vegas strictly for the zip line. No, I think this was
a burger here. We'll pick the double, right? This is a group of hungry guys, right?
Are you now going through the Shake Shack build your own burger?
Yeah.
Okay, so how much is it? Now the fries there at Shake Shack are very underrated. They're crinkle cut.
Oh, this is from Shake Shack?
Yeah.
I thought it was from Smashburger.
Oh, wait. Wait. It's Smashburger. I'm sorry. Yes.
A double at Smashburger is $7.
Yeah, I told you.
So you were more right than me.
$7. How do you get to 431?
And then, let's do for math's sake, 430 divided by 7. That's 61 burgers.
61 burgers.
Some of that is the delivery fee to the jet.
No. It's 431 is the subtotal.
That's pure burger.
That's pure burger.
Okay.
And we got to assume fry, right?
Oh, definitely.
Right. And you got to think there were drinks involved. And you got to think, do they have now here? I'm going to tell you right now, if I'm like, clearly there's not a budget here on this DoorDash adventure to their private jet.
When the Reaver Sports Network goes on the road, we got like a $12 to $15 limit. You're gonna get some looks if you hit that $15.
Really?
Number. Yeah.
Is there an etiquette to when you go ahead and you order up to budget?
We got to keep it. We don't want any questions being lobbied at the radio.
I'm going to be honest with you, because Matt Rule multiple times has paid for catering himself for things. Okay,
very kind.
When it comes to food, Matt Rule doesn't mess around.
He doesn't eat anymore, so that's
okay.
Neither
that's not true. That's not true.
I think it is. Look at him.
He works out. I'm not going to make fun of the man for losing. Come on, Josh, stop it. He works out. I believe
I'll
him.
bet many people have seen him at the gym. Yes, that's true.
Stop it. I am not going to shame a man.
I'm not shaming him. I'm just saying. We all know the story there.
The story is that multiple times he said that he's worked out and people see that he's been working out. I believe him. I'm all about health, man. You want to make your life better. You want to get a little skinnier.
Go for
you
it.
Want to improve your heart. I'm not going to speculate at all as to how Matt Rule has done it. He's just done it.
Yeah.
But when it comes to food, that boy doesn't mess around, man.
Matt Rule knows results are results. It doesn't matter how you get there.
He will lay it down. He will make sure we are all fed. Every day is like Thanksgiving when it comes to Matt Rule.
Keeps his guys happy.
He wants all his boys to eat. Maybe he can feed his offensive line better so they can up in weight and they can become stronger.
Back in my day, we used to go to the table and there were just steaks. Oh, I can only have one steak? No, you can actually have as many steaks as you want until you get to our desired weight for you. Just eat. Keep eating. And
Get
then
stronger.
When you don't think you can eat anymore,
have
another steak.
That is kind of what they say. You get full and then you go ahead and you go 3 more bites.
Oh, really?
And that's how you put the weight on. That's what my friend who ended up being drafted by the Tampa Bay Rays when he was gaining weight, that's what he would say. He was like, if you want to gain weight, eat till you're full and then take 3 more bites.
I had no idea you knew Randy Arozarena.
No, it's not Randy Arozarena. His name's Brian Brecker. He's playing AA baseball. Shout out, Brian.
Jacksonville Jumbo Shrimp?
I have no clue. He said that he would send us all of this different type of gear and whatnot, and we never got it. But somehow he ended up with his roommate was Alan. You remember Alan Williams? He's the defensive He was the disgraced defensive coordinator for the Chicago Bears who got fired.
AA of the Rays is the Montgomery Biscuits.
Yes. Oh, he's a biscuit now?
He's a biscuit.
Dude, have you seen those biscuit hats?
I have.
They are dope.
Nick Grimm wants one.
He wants a Montgomery biscuit. So that's what I buy for my brother. My brother is really big into minor league baseball hats. And so I buy him minor league baseball hats. And the one that I got him, so I got him the Fort Wayne tin caps.
Good one.
Which is like the apple with the pot on top of said. And then I've gotten the Montgomery biscuits. And then I got him the flying squirrels. I think they were like the Portland flying squirrels or something like that.
Good email here from Chris.
Yes.
Glad we can spend $600 on Smashburgers, but apparently not have enough money to buy decent portal players. Can you imagine how much LSU can pay for DoorDash? Well, I mean, they're just getting canes. It's all canes all the time at LSU. He sends us a screenshot of Nebraska's 36th ranked portal class snuggled in between K-State and Virginia.
Oh, breaking news.
Are we doing this?
No. Wemby is now bald. He shaved his head.
Wemby is bald?
Yeah, he shaved his head.
How's it look?
He looks like Derek White, but taller.
Oh, that's not a good look.
It's not a good look at all.
Derek White plays for my basketball team, and I'll tell you that's not a good look.
That's a terrible look. Your basketball team had a really bad loss. Right?
Yeah. I've already flushed the tape on it, but the Kings? Was it the Kings?
No, they lost to the Pacers.
Pacers.
That was tough. Yeah, it was one of those things. I was going through the list of like the longest tenured basketball coaches. Eric Spoelstra.
You know, he started in the video room.
Yeah, they love talking about that. You know, the third longest. So it goes Eric Spoelstra, then Steve Kerr. Okay,
sure.
Your 2 longest. So Kerr's been around for 10 years now because he started in 2015. Wow. Spoelstra has been around for what, 16 years or something ridiculous like that.
Yeah.
Can you guess who the next longest tenured basketball coach in the NBA is?
Okay, give me a beat on this. Just let me think of this. I bet I won't, but
been in the league a long time.
Wow. The Nuggets fired their guy. Yeah, I know. That's why I said give me a beat. Wow.
Trying to look for more breaking news here as things are happening. We do have Lauren Michelson coming up.
I don't know.
Billy Donovan, 6 years.
Wow.
One playoff appearance.
A hire I believe I called disastrous when initially made.
One playoff appearance and one year over 500 for Billy Donovan, which, by the way, that one playoff appearance, they were the 6th seed and they got knocked out in the first round by the Milwaukee Bucks. So I went to the first game of that series. I was so excited for the Bulls to be in the playoffs, and they ended up getting gentleman's sweep. So sucks to suck. All righty. Do you know who doesn't suck? Lauren Michelson.
She's great.
She's awesome. She's coming up next year on Middays with Matt.
Middays with Matt on 1620 The Zone.
Mostly cloudy, mild, and breezy for your Thursday afternoon with the high today in Omaha 45 degrees. Winds out of the south up to about 25 miles an hour today. Chance for isolated sprinkles, but many of us remaining dry. Tonight, staying breezy, becoming windy by Friday morning. Increasing clouds Friday with a 40% chance of light flurries, dropping temperatures throughout the day and gusty winds. I'm meteorologist Caitlin.
Now back to Middays with Matt on 1620 The Zone.
Middays Matt here on 1620 The Zone. We are going to try and get Lauren Michelson here on the line. Let's go to the text line real quick. Over here we go to John on the text line. He goes, maybe the $600 of Smashburger is why. I won't read that. That's kind of mean. Tyler in the text line goes ahead and says, if someone gives you a thank you wave, you don't wave back. That means you're a douche. That's Midwest 101. Thank you. Thank you, Tyler. He gets it. We are now joined by somebody who is on the road currently right now en route to I don't want to dox you if you want to say where you're going, but you're currently in the car on the way somewhere. It's Lauren Michelson from KETV. What is your take here on the thank you wave on the road? Do you feel like not enough people are waving at each other thank you when we're driving? Have we lost that?
When we're driving?
Yes.
No, you're not waving at people on the road.
Whoa.
What do you mean? Wait, we're waving at people on the road?
Like if you let if you let somebody in, right, in the lane and they go ahead and in front of you and you're nice to them, don't you expect a thank you wave?
Yeah, a two-hand like little thank you.
Yes, thank you.
Easy.
Exactly. Now, are you giving a your welcome wave back?
Yeah.
Okay.
You know what do we say? Nebraska nice. We're Midwestern people. We're going to be very kind on the road.
We've lost the plot. We've lost etiquette on the road. We got to reestablish it. Alrighty, a lot going on, Lauren. Obviously, in Nebraska basketball, Creighton basketball, Omaha basketball actually has a pretty big game. They had a big win last week too against North Dakota State. They play Oral Roberts this Saturday. You, along with Andy Kendi, covering it all for KETV. I will give you the floor. What do you want to talk about? What is something that you've been covering? What have you been enjoying? What's been on your mind? What have been some of the favorite things you've done? I think the last time we talked to you was about a couple of weeks ago. So I will give you the airwaves here to talk about how fun your job's been, or maybe how fun your job hasn't been over the last couple of weeks. No. You have the stage.
Well, that's very nice of you.
Of course.
It's been kind of like you get to January and you're like, oh, can we kind of take a breather here?
Sure.
And things slow down. Nope. Like we are full head of steam with basketball season, covering it all. And I'll tell you what, let's have Creighton and Nebraska not play on the same night again, because I want to be at both of these games, and it's quite literally impossible. But
yes.
No, I was at Creighton Nebraska Tuesday night. We had another team member at Creighton, and it's just been fun because there's so much going on. But I'm talking about Nebraska basketball nonstop. But I mean, it's just they are the best story in college hoops right now, and there's so many guys to love on this team. You can take your pick. There's an incredible storyline, and I don't know if you were listening. You weren't because you're working, but Hoiberg just finished his pre-Northwestern press conference, and it's just so interesting hearing him talk about this team, because it's not really that much different than what you've heard from him the last few years. But what really stands out is how much he talks about two things: discipline and physicality with this team. And discipline and just the way they prep for these opponents, and their scout is just so solid. And then discipline in the fact that, like, they know their roles. They're not getting too far ahead. And then from a physicality standpoint, like he said it today, just a few minutes ago, this team may not be able to match man for man, but they go in and know they have to win the battle of the boards and fight to play their best basketball consistently on both ends. And when they are so dominant, we've seen them do that. And I'll tell you what, I think the best part of this team right now is two guys, Sam Hoiberg, and how gritty he is. Yeah. And I mean, at this point, he was third in the Big Ten in steals heading into Tuesday night's game. I'm sure he's climbed the ranks up there. And then Braden Frager, you have a freshman who is absolutely shooting it lights out, and has found a way to keep his composure even when things are getting a little heated. They are a blast to watch. So people need to be paying attention outside of the state of Nebraska.
And look, it's getting to one of those things where I don't know if the clock is about to strike midnight at all, right? They're rolling and playing some of their best basketball. And now it's getting a little bit more real and less fun, because they're one of three teams in the NCAA who are still undefeated. And if they were ranked in the preseason to begin, they'd probably be the number 2 team ranked in the country, or thereabouts in the top 3. Let me ask you about I think one very interesting story that I know that you can comment on and maybe doesn't get enough credit, but what do you think of Jamarcus Lawrence and kind of his college basketball journey, right? He comes in, true freshman, plays 28 games, really came on toward the end of that 2022-2023 season, starting plenty of those games. And then, his second year takes more of was still a mixed starter / bench player. I think toward the end of that season, he started coming off of the bench and then transfers. Goes to Rhode Island, kind of has like a feeder program minor league year, and then now comes back to Nebraska and had the game-winning 3 against Illinois, led them to the victory against Indiana. Just what have you seen from number 10 returning to the Huskers?
Yeah, I covered Jamarcus Lawrence as a freshman at Nebraska his first season, and you knew he was talented then, but he was also really shy and just had a lot of growth to do in just his confidence and his ability as a player. And so he leaves and he goes to Rhode Island and, say what you want about the transfer portal in college sports nowadays in general, but he is a perfect example of maybe it's good to get away and learn and grow up a little bit and find what works for you and be challenged in a different way. And then you come back to Nebraska and he's filling a need they have and doing really well for this team. He's so consistent and he is so much more confident. He's a completely different player than he was. He has the same traits that he had as a freshman, but he's just grown up a little bit. And, that's one thing Fred Hoiberg talks about is like a guy like him, this team needs, because you have your Rink Mass, who is such a leader and consistent and that voice that Nebraska needs, just as an older standpoint, but to have Jamarcus Lawrence also have the experience he does and be able to set the tone and and he's just kind of a steady presence as well. Like he doesn't get too high, he doesn't get too low. And someone this team needs. So he's been a joy to watch. I think Hoiberg's thrilled, obviously, to have him here. And exactly what we just said. Like, it's not always great to see players you like enter the portal and come back, and it's kind of the Wild West out there. But it worked for him.
Let's go ahead and we're going to shift from talking about one fun story in Nebraska basketball to then a story that a lot of people it kind of popped out of nowhere, right? Mike Eckler, what the hell is going on? What would it look like for Nebraska football if they were to enter the season without Mike Eckler as their special teams coordinator? And is there a concern from you that there would be a fan backlash that would kind of whip right back around in the face of Matt Rule?
Well, the team cannot worry about fan backlash.
Sure.
And
good point.
I mean, the worst thing Nebraska can do is continue to buy into anything outside of what is going on with it. They need to say what's going on within their locker room. And I sometimes do question how involved, even with Rule's podcast and certain aspects. You want to see this team just really focused on the inside. And they speak as if they are, and I do believe that they are focused on only themselves. But Mike Eckler is one of the best things that happened to Nebraska football within the last year, and obviously made a stout difference immediately. Losing him would be really disappointing as a fan base. I mean, it would suck, but for Nebraska too, I mean, Rule doesn't want to lose him. And so I don't know. If I was Coach Rule, I would do everything I could to keep him. I don't know what that looks like and what goes into it, but we saw so many instances this season where special teams won them the game or made a significant impact. And especially in the Big Ten, you need great special teams. We know this. So it is priority number one to get someone like him. And also the guys just love him. Even when he was assisting with the defense during the bowl practices, these players are drawn to him. They want to play for him. When you have players that want to do well for a coach, like a lot of these guys do for Eckler, it shines on the field, and you see that. So it would be a major, major loss. I don't know what's going to happen. I wish I could see into a crystal ball, but that is not great. That is not great.
Don't we all wish we could just see with the crystal ball? It would make the takes on this show a lot better. Let's go ahead and talk about. Let's keep on Nebraska football, because I haven't asked you about this guy since he committed to play for Nebraska football, but I feel like he's kind of a television reporter / and I'm sure Andy is incredibly excited about him being on the football team. He's kind of a dream in a little bit from the matter of fact that he's a showman and a bit of a firecracker. How excited are you guys to report on Anthony Calandria? I mean, the guy seems like he's absolutely electric on the football field. Is there a part of you that's a little bit selfish in the terms of the fact of, man, we're going to get a lot of good sound bites and we're going to get a lot of good interviews and we're going to get a lot of great B-roll of him just being him?
Yeah, he seems to bring a really authentic, fun personality, which is never a bad thing in a quarterback. You know who was so great to cover a couple years ago was Casey Thompson.
Yeah.
He had such a high IQ. He was really good at articulating and breaking down different coverages and schemes and without giving too much away, but sometimes it would be a lot. And he was just fun to talk to, and he was always very intentional at this time. So yeah, they kind of do remind me of each other a little bit in that sense. And you always like a guy that's good with the media, but I mean, at this point, what I'm most excited about with Calandria is more so just his ability on the field to be what Nebraska needs. Like, he's not exactly a dual threat. We know he can extend plays with his legs. There's a lot of mobility there that Nebraska clearly needs in a quarterback. He has a good arm, and he's flashy enough without being too much, where I just think you don't always want your quarterback to be the entire identity of your team, especially not nowadays. And I think Calandria paired with the other guys Nebraska's gotten in the portal, it seems like a very well-rounded group in the sense that it's crossed off a lot of needs. The money's been spread out in a good way. If, they say all the time, Nebraska loves to win the offseason. Unfortunately, this is another one of those scenarios where they have done a pretty good job so far this offseason in getting who they need personnel-wise. I'd like to see a couple more defensive linemen.
Yeah.
But, yeah, Calandria seems awesome. We shall see. I have heard spring practices may start up a little bit earlier this season, so that would be nice to get in there and see what's going to come.
All right, little scoop from Lauren Michelson of KETV. We'll leave you here on this one because you bring up, enjoying covering Casey Thompson. I mean, maybe I'm asking you to pick favorites here, but is there a favorite athlete that you've covered, whether it be at Omaha or Creighton or Nebraska? God. Is there a top athlete, male athlete, female athlete, where you go, man, I always enjoy talking to them and doing stories on them?
Oh my gosh, you're putting me on the spot.
I know.
A few, right? You know who I really liked? Sam Griesel was a joy, if you remember him.
Yeah, of course. Yeah.
He was a joy, really good sound, great player, hometown kid. You love a hometown connection. I always liked talking with Lexi Rodriguez from Nebraska volleyball. She was just really just a high IQ player, very smart, and great story, great family. So, but you know what? That's why you get attached to this job. You find you love covering these players and these people, and they have great stories. So every team has a bunch of them. So it's hard to pick.
Lauren, thank you so much for joining us today here. First ever edition of a Lauren Michelson Thursday on Middays with Matt. You will, for our listeners out there, you will be on every other week, and then your colleague Andy Kendi will be switching off with you on Thursday. So it's a KETV Thursday here on Middays with Matt. We appreciate you joining us from the road. We will talk to you soon.
Thank you, Matt. Good to talk to you.
Good to talk to you too, Lauren. That was Lauren Michelson of KETV, one of the best in the business. KETV, just awesome at their coverage when it comes to sports. Andy Kendi, Lauren Michelson. We unfortunately did lose Matt Satilli to Connecticut.
I never heard where he was. I heard he was leaving. I never heard where
NBC
he was going.
Connecticut.
Connecticut.
I know that guy, man. That guy's gonna win it all. That guy's
covered
awesome.
Baldy.
I know.
24/7.
He was a good hang. Let me tell you something about Matt Satilli. Great hang. Great guy. We have a really good. I know Connor Happer and I have joked about it, but for me personally, we have a great little group of young broadcasters / journalists. Here.
I've heard there's this
it's not a secret society.
Not secret society, but I'm not invited because of my age.
Well, I don't think.
I just want to be invited.
Do you want to be there?
I'm not going to go.
Do you
I just want to be invited.
I think Satilli was the oldest guy, and he was 28.
See, exactly.
Do you really want to be there? It's a bunch of people who don't have wives or husbands or daughters or sons or anything.
I like to mentor.
Well, you're doing a great job at that. I do appreciate that. I mean, you have that now every day. Every day you have to come in and mentor.
Yeah, maybe I'll get tired of it.
You actually, I hope you don't, because I won't have a job. I don't know if you know, but I have to pay for things.
My PFF subscriptions don't pay for themselves.
That's right. Your FOIA Ball subscription.
I know, $3.99 a month to figure out.
You can't just
$3.99 a month
to month that thing.
I'm
like,
gonna
do
be
I need
real
it
with
this
you.
month?
I love subscriptions. I love paying for things and reading.
Oh yeah,
I do. I feel special. I pay for Todd McShay articles. I pay for Jeff Goodman articles. Todd. See, Todd, you got to go with the iced coffee, making big waves, had a great combine. Not going to go with the matcha, not diverse enough. That was my Todd. That was my Mel Kiper.
It's good Mel.
I cannot wait to get Frank Caliendo on the show.
He will be on the show.
A show.
He's not exclusive to the Connor Happer show. Okay?
No, we should have. See, that is the child in the divorce.
Next week, now he might have to do a weekend at Mom's and a weekend at Dad's. He's got a show coming up. Why wouldn't he want to be on both shows?
Exactly. And I can embarrass myself by doing a bunch of my impressions are not impressions. They're Frank Caliendo doing impressions.
Okay, see, we got to talk about that. If you're going to do impressions to an impressionist, they have to be good.
Let me tell you what, man. Desmond Howard striking a pose, man.
Okay, maybe we could have him help you.
Oh, that'd be a fun bit. I bet he definitely wouldn't hate every part of that.
Maybe that's the angle we go with, because you do a Gruden, it's a pretty decent Gruden. Like,
don't give me decent. It's a good Gruden.
Hey, just you and your boys hanging out. You do a good Gruden.
Fool Jack Mitchell.
But you could get the Gruden impression to help you with yours.
Sure. I think that'd be a great call. I won't do my Stephen A. Smith because I might get canceled. Do you know what's not getting canceled? What to watch for. We won that in the divorce. And Dog of the Day. Coming up next on the ending of Middays with Matt.
Middays with Matt on 1620 The Zone.
You're still grooving, still connecting, still loving, still turning up, still thriving. You still got it, but your immune system, it weakens as you age. That's where vaccines come in. They help train and strengthen your immune response to fight off respiratory illnesses like flu, pneumococcal pneumonia, RSV, or COVID-19. Ask your doctor or pharmacist which vaccines you need. Book in minutes at vaxassist.com. Sponsored by Pfizer.
Now back to Middays with Matt on 1620 The Zone.
To the text line, John texts in, no, Josh, you don't want to really hang out with a bunch of young punks.
I think it would just make me feel old, and they'd like, I think you all would be very nice and very kind, like, oh, hey, welcome. And then like about 30 minutes later, I would realize, hey, no one's talking to me. Why am I here?
From the 402.
I-402.
You do need a dance license for an establishment. Really? Didn't know that.
But like, if you just have like a jukebox at Applebee's, you don't need a dance license.
Touch tunes?
If the music hits me in a way and I dance, you don't need a license for that. I don't need a license for that.
Somebody wrote in earlier, Wrigley is a dump. The whole place smells like piss troughs. Historically, significance is highly overrated when it comes to sporting venues.
Ooh, wow.
First off, that's not true.
The first half, correct. The second half,
the first
I
half
disagree.
Is so correct. Wrigley smells.
Yeah.
Okay. Wrigley smells. Oh, somebody is now sharing me their futures bets. Oh, wow. Somebody bet $5 to win 500 on a Miami Hurricanes plus 10,000.
Whoa. When was the date? Like, when
the
was
date?
The date
is
of that
December 6th, 2025.
Great pick.
Hell of a bet. I guess I'm the second best features better in America. All right, here we go. What are we watching tonight, Josh Hodson?
Well, another rough slate of college basketball tonight.
I mean, not a rough slate. It's not the best slate.
Wichita State at Florida Atlantic.
Yeah, no, thank you. Oh, is that going to be point shave?
It might be 8 o'clock on ESPN2.
Wait, they're playing a basketball game right now.
They are.
Prime.
They are. We'll get to that.
Okay.
Number 9, Gonzaga takes on Washington State at 9 o'clock on CBS Sports Network. I don't know what Ken Palm says, but those are my 2 picks for the best game of the night. Women's basketball, a much better slate on the women's side of things. Number 9, Louisville takes on number 23, Notre Dame at 5 o'clock on ACC Network. Number 4, Texas at number 2, South Carolina, 6 o'clock on ESPN2. And number 24, Nebraska at number 15, Michigan State, 6 o'clock on BTN. They are playing basketball in Berlin right now on Amazon Prime. That's why it's taking place at 1 o'clock. The Grizzlies and the Magic. What better representation to show the Berlin audience than Grizzlies Magic? It's on right now on Prime. 2 more games on Prime tonight: Thunder Rockets and then Knicks Warriors at 9 o'clock. NHL doubleheader on ESPN. Flyers Penguins in a battle for the Keystone State, 6 o'clock. And Maple Leafs Golden Knights at 8:30. Couple of things to watch outside of sports, Matt. There's a new series on Peacock. It's called Ponies.
Okay.
Set in 1977 Moscow. The drama stars Emilia Clarke as an embassy secretary who is recruited by the CIA after her husband is killed under mysterious circumstances. And second episode of the second season of The Pit tonight on HBO Max. I'm sure you can watch it right now. While nervously awaiting her deposition, King takes a tumble, and someone tries to introduce new technology into the ER.
Okay. Is The Pit? The Pit was all the everybody was talking about it at the Golden Globes.
The Pit is dope.
Is it actually?
If you loved ER, watch The Pit.
Okay.
Legally, they're nothing alike, but they're exactly alike.
We're going to go ahead for the dog of the day. We are 1 and 2 in dogs of the day in this show's history.
Hot streak starts tonight.
It starts tonight. We are now. I try and be diverse in my gambling, right? I try and give you as much information as I possibly can across the sports. I'm always looking for value.
Sprinkle it across the board.
This is a good value pick tonight, right? Yesterday I was trying to hit a home run. It was plus 152 on the Jazz. We were a buzzer beater away from going ahead and cashing that ticket. We had a great bet on the LA Lakers. Never a sweat on them. And then we should be 3-0. All right, we should be 3-0.
That's what I've been telling
There's no reason why we shouldn't be 3-0. The Edmonton Oilers are 23, 16, and 8 on the season. They have 54 points. Tonight, they are hosting the New York Islanders, who actually have more points in the NHL standings. They're coming off of a loss. The Islanders trying to get back on track, currently second place in the Metropolitan. It's just going to be a good hockey game tonight. Plus 136 is just good value. It's just good value for the Islanders, who are a very good hockey team this season. So give me the Islanders money line plus 136 tonight on the road against the Oilers. That game, puck drops at 8:10. All righty. That has been Middays with Matt, episode 4, A New Hope. Tomorrow, we strike back with football. Tomorrow is going to be a football-pilled episode. Oh, my God.
Whoa.
We are going to be talking about college football. We're going to be talking about the portal because it's the last day. Who is still out there? Who are going to be the last-minute entries? Is anything going to happen? Are there teams clutching their pearls, hoping that, hey, we've done a good job retaining our guys up to this point. Don't leave us at the last minute. And we're going to be talking about Indiana versus Miami. And we're going to be talking about Bills and Broncos, Rams and Bears, Seahawks and 49ers, Houston Texans. They play. Oh, no. Who am I missing? Oh, no. This is bad.
I was reading something. I don't know who you named.
Houston. Who did the Houston Texans play?
They play the Patriots.
The Patriots. Damn it.
The Pats.
We were batting 1,000 up until that brain fart. We were doing such a great job. We're going to be talking about the NFL playoffs, the college football playoffs, free agency, transfer portal.
coaching hires. Nebraska basketball plays on Saturday. Creighton basketball plays on Saturday. Those will be 2 big games. Our show's over. Our Friday show's done. It's done. It's in the books. It's happened.
Love that.
Yeah. Not a whole lot of prep tonight, Josh Hodson. We won't have to be scribbling on the pad because tomorrow is going to be loaded. It's going to be a good time. Can't wait for you to join us here on 1620 The Zone once again for Middays with Matt. That is it from Josh Hodson and I here on this Thursday on Sportsmanlike Conduct, and the crossover is up next.
Live from the Host Coffee Studio, this is 1620 The Zone.